I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swiped the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. U.S., Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology. Cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out. Okay, welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. I got my brother from another mother here today on my side, Chappelle Lacey. Thank you for being here.
Always.
And then in front of me, I have 2 of the Scowls, Kat and Malachi. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And Kat Moss, that's your real name?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
sick.
I have a longer first name than just Kat, but I've gone by Kat for ever.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's an incredible name. I mean, wow. So thanks for being here, you guys.
Yeah.
We just met yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the Offspring show.
That was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool to see them on a beach. Like, I've never really watched the whole set by them. My brother's been in the band for 10 years. I'm a bad brother. But I checked it out.
That was your first time seeing your brother
Yeah, the
play
whole...
with them.
I shouldn't be saying the podcast. Yeah, it was my first time
Cut
watch it out, saying the whole set. Just sitting there watching the whole set was my first time. Like, they've done festivals. I popped in and out. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm psyched for my brother. I love my brother. And those songs are great. I didn't realize how many bangers they have. There's so many songs. You don't realize, like, you know.
Oh, yeah. Every song is a hit.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. I was like, oh, my God. Every single song. Like, and it was stuck in my head on the drive home. That part
Which
really
one,
got me.
though? Do you remember?
Oh my
Not
God.
Fly for White Guy.
No.
Okay.
You heard me singing it. I was like, oh, it's stuck in my head. And me and Sam were talking about it.
Was it Bad Habit?
Wait, no.
Oh, they got sing.
Isn't that Pretty Fly for Wait, no, that's not the song, though. There was a different one.
Mad catchy, though.
There's a different one.
No,
it was like a whoa, whoa, whoa song. Like a...
They have so many woes.
I know.
They do have a lot of woes.
Well, that's why it's catchy.
Was it It's Gotta Get Away
From
Me? No.
I'm blanking completely.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm not like their number one fan, so unfortunately I'm...
But it was cool to see you there and also doing
cool.
deep dive on you. I know you love all types of music.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like country, Bruce Springsteen.
I love Bruce Springsteen.
Billie Eilish.
Oh, really?
I love Billie Eilish.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all. I love that. I love the generation of hardcore and punk bands that listen to all types of music.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that for us growing up. Everything was like separated like that. You know what I mean? I mean, we
I'm
cover
not 52, but I'm
whatever. I mean, we cover Madonna. People are like, you cover Madonna? Well, that's not punk. But I always loved pop music.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying?
I love pop. I'm a total
Yeah.
pop head. He like actually lost his mind because we were driving down from Santa Cruz yesterday, and that's like a 5.5 hour drive.
Shit.
Oh, wow.
And I was listening to Olivia Rodrigo, Billie Eilish, Lana Del Rey. Who?
That's not your shit, Malachi. No.
I don't mind it.
I don't think he
Yeah.
minds it.
Yeah,
It's
I
my
like
singing
some of the songs
probably
a
that
lot.
he
I mean,
minds.
I like just music in general, and
Yeah.
I always thought people who were like, all I listen to is hardcore, all I listen to is punk. I was like, you're full of shit, because I know you'll be like me. Like, I grew up with like punks and skins and stuff. So like, dude, I was like, listening to everything everyone else was.
Yeah.
But you're damn straight. I was rocking like some Pat Benatar in my
I
room
love
and stuff.
Pat.
Like, I was like,
She's so
I never
cool.
was like, I was never into the like, let's just listen to a rigid box of stuff. Cause to me, that wasn't ever, I really enjoyed from the start to finish what punk is, and not the finish. It's constantly evolving. But
I love that.
Yeah.
if you look at bands, like it was like Minor Threat to Fugazi, and Fugazi is so much different than Minor Threat. And then
Embrace too. Yeah.
it was very like they experimented with like a lot of stuff and a lot of like different instruments and everything like that. So like when people are like, that's not punk or that's not hardcore, and that's like, I think you're missing the point. And like anyone who tells you like you have to be in this box is just fucking idiots.
Yeah,
I know. It's,
Wait, forgive me for asking. How old are you guys?
I'm 27.
I'm 24.
27, 24. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
so it's like for me, punk was like about being open-minded and
Yeah.
listening to
Yeah.
everything and
Yeah.
like accepting everyone, all the weirdos. You all came together,
Yep.
Yeah.
regardless of what you listen to. I guess. I mean, people listen to rock and roll, every type of music, and going to punk shows. And I don't know. I just love. That's the first thing I was reading about a while ago about Bruce Springsteen and all that, and the Billy. And there was a kind of country that you mentioned that's like, I forget what kind of country it was. It's
Like
not just
outlaw country.
So what is the difference between that and like regular country?
Well, Malachi's can help elaborate on this, but basically, outlaw country is kind of like what it's like the punk country,
Is that like Johnny Cash.
Well, yeah.
Is
Johnny
he
Cash could be kind of considered. I think
He seems punk.
someone's gonna get mad at me because I'm probably not gonna explain
So
this
are
great.
you thinking like,
But like
more so
Waylon Jennings, Willie
Yes.
Nelson,
Okay.
Hank Williams?
yeah.
Hank Williams is like even like
He kinda, like,
he's
predates
like
it.
super. He was wild. You
But
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
it's-
they
Yeah.
were like the original
Well,
punks, and
I was
and
gonna
the way
say-
I saw it.
the reason
Go ahead.
the reason that I think that outlaw country kind of came about, it was, I think, if I'm not incorrect, because I was talking to my dad about this, he's really into country.
Okay.
I grew up listening to country a lot because
cool.
of my dad. Huge fan of like radio country. I know it's not good,
Yeah.
quote unquote,
Yeah.
but like it's just catchy and nostalgic. But long story short, my dad explained to me that when outlaw country kind of happened, I think it was when the music industry was putting a ton of money into country artists, like in Nashville, right? And there was like a lot of very wealthy, well-paid, successful country artists, and they were really like clean cut, I guess. But outlaw country was kind of like the dudes
More
who-
rugged.
Yeah, they were a little
Beards.
bit rugged, and they didn't want to be businessmen with their music, I don't think.
They controlled, so
I might
a
be
lot of it
wrong.
was. You're not wrong.
I
It
think
was.
You know more than I know about it.
From what I know
Oh,
is it. Like when I was looking into it even more, was it had a lot to do with like the recording rights as well, and so like they didn't want the record labels having control over their music a lot of the time. So it was like,
Which is
they're
pretty punk to
They're
me.
like outlaws. within,
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
They
Totally.
had their own. I know like I would have to like deep dive in it. I'm not a historian on it. I enjoyed the music a lot, but I could sing a lot of the songs, but I just don't know the history as thorough as a lot of other people will, and I won't pretend I do. But I do know it had to do with them battling with the record labels and like big record labels, and just kind of being like,
Sounds like
this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna own our own music, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it how we want to do it.
Love that. It's
And
total
that
punk.
was-
DIY.
Yeah, and so that was a huge thing. I know that, but like I said, I'm sure there's someone who will
Yeah, there's
probably
gonna be-
school me after hearing this, and that's
Yeah.
fine. That's totally okay with me, because I'd love to know more about it. In a way, it's like I read into it and see what I can figure out, but it's
it's almost like
what's-
hardcore and then punk.
Yeah, what's
I don't
cool
know.
is it seems like in every genre, so like you get this genre of people, like whether it be country or pop or anything.
Yeah.
And there's people that go, no, we want control over our stuff, and it sounds like, through the history of the outlaw country, it sounds like they were just like, hey, we want control over our stuff, like Prince.
Exactly.
Yes.
When you think of Prince and him really being adamant about like, yo, I did the work, I produced the records, like it's my stuff.
I love Prince. I also think it's cool that like he kind of started to seek out other artists, like young artists, and like
Yeah.
help put them on a platform. Like I
Mhm.
just think that's so cool when like really successful artists and like writers like do that.
Yeah.
I just think that
Yeah, he's like a real musician too,
Oh,
like
yeah.
an underrated guitar player as well.
Underrated.
Oh
And
my
nobody
God.
talk about that, you know, like
Most people
he's
don't- yeah.
he's just a genius at everything, I think.
And he's worked with so many people that we probably wouldn't even like.
Yeah.
Like what?
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
work with them. You know, it's crazy.
Did he
think-
cover a Jimmy Eat World song, or was that
That's what
Foo
who was
Fighters
telling
song.
us that.
that was crazy that Prince
Yeah.
did that?
I did not know that.
Mhm.
That's
Alex was telling us
cool.
it's like a rare footage.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I think he worked with like Kate Bush or we were
Think
talking
so.
to a friend he was trying to work with
He worked
Oh.
with Bjork, I think.
Oh, for
Bjork,
sure.
Yeah.
Who else? This Irish singer I can't remember her name.
Sinead
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote what's the song?
Dude,
I would
don't know.
die for no, what's
No.
the song?
No, that's a
Her
Prince
biggest song, he
Yeah.
wrote
Her
it.
Yeah.
biggest song.
Yeah.
Ah shit, what's
Is it
Posers?
the
I won't
one
do that. I won't
about
do that
is
to
it
us.
like something for war?
No,
I don't know.
No, it's
Yeah.
God, we gotta get it, Chappelle, because I'm a total
Yeah.
I got you,
poser.
I
Dude.
got
Are
it, I
you
got
kidding
it.
me, dude? I love Sinead. What are we doing?
Dude, she's so
I would
good
die.
though.
No, it's not that. It's a pure big. It's
it
been
nothing
7
compares to you.
hours and
Nothing compares to you.
16. Nothing compares to you. Yes.
Oh,
Banger.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, he wrote that.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank God for Google.
No,
So-
we,
So
I'm
you,
doing dirty.
so are you from Santa Cruz?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
You just said Sacramento. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the band's from there. Or?
Yeah, basically. Santa Cruz,
from-
San Jose.
Yeah, it's from both
Um,
Santa Cruz and San Jose.
I grew up in like a suburb of Sacramento, basically. But he was born in Santa Cruz. The rest of the band was born in San Jose.
Okay.
I can't really at this point I just have to claim California.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just like Northern California.
Yeah. Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister. She's cool, but she's not very punk.
Okay. She's not into the same type of music or anything.
Not as much, but she loves me and she really supports me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She really loves me.
And so, what was it like? How did you find punk? Like, what kind of music you were into? I mean,
Yeah.
you're into everything, but
Yeah.
what was that connection?
I mean, when I was younger, I definitely was a little bit more like picky and I wanted to find something that made me feel interesting. I
Yeah.
think as most like really like coming into their teens kind of like young people do. But I got into like My Chemical Romance and like AFI and like this band Mindless Self-Indulgence, like all that
I knew
kind of
that.
like
Yeah.
yeah, totally like I was trying to be like a scene kid in middle school, you know?
Yeah.
Like
You goth?
classic.
Like goth kind of.
It was like emo scene
Yeah.
kind of because I was in middle school like 2010. Wow. I think.
That's
Yeah.
so crazy to hear.
Yeah,
Damn it.
very crazy. So I kind of like caught the tail end of like the MySpace like
Yeah.
and
Got you.
I did not know what punk really was besides like fashion.
Yeah,
punk.
Hot
Like,
Topic
Okay.
type stuff. Okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So for
AFI's
me,
the best.
the thing that's so crazy is I knew like the hits at the time was like it was like Miss Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's what I knew. I didn't know about like
The older
hardcore
shit.
AFI. Like it
Oh,
took
that-
me
yeah.
much
That
longer,
first
East Bay
record.
hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah.
which is so crazy because I was like this close, but it took me years to like catch on to the rest of it, like hardcore and punk. Like actually,
Yeah.
for me, it was Warped Tour and like pop punk and metalcore.
Yeah.
and, like,
Yeah.
that was like my teen years.
You like Blink and Newfound Glory and stuff like that.
Yeah, Blink for sure. I kind of again I always lean to the more like Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, like a little bit more theatrical, a little bit darker, like
Yeah.
imagery,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
kind of funny now because I'm super like into colors and flowers and
Yeah.
like I like that. But as a teenager, it was like opposite.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So
Yeah.
you stuck with that specific side of AFI for a long time. It took you a while
Kind
to
of, yeah.
go back
it's
to
cool.
that first record.
I was
or-
really big
yeah,
on
to the-
singles with
Yeah,
bands.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
no.
get
So
like
radio songs, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I think about that
Totally.
with the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
More so recently.
dude, that is such
Yes.
a good band.
Yes.
and I
such a
didn't
good
know
band. Yes.
how amazing they were
Uh-huh.
until I really dove deep into them a couple years ago. Sorry,
Yes.
Same
The first
idea.
records are
Because
all
it-
punk
it-
and shit.
yeah,
super
the first
fast.
record-
they're like a
super
hardcore
punk.
band.
Yes.
Yes.
They
Buffalo.
remind me of like Husker Du or something.
Yes,
like
yes.
totally that vibe.
Or like a replacement.
Yes.
Like certain replacement
and
records.
those are bands I didn't get into till like a couple years ago, where I was like, whoa, I did not expect this at all.
And their other, I think their other hits are incredible, man.
Yeah.
But like those hits are so far different than,
I know where they came
that
from.
first record.
I was like
it's crazy.
doing a weird Goo Goo Dolls like deep dive a couple years ago, where I was like
Yeah.
trying to understand like where do they come from, how do they get to that point, how did like Iris become such a big song?
Was
like,
it a movie, right?
It was
It
for a movie.
Yeah, it was.
It was written
I can't
for
remember.
a movie. I also cannot remember.
Diane Lane. I can see the
Yeah. It's
like
about
a love movie.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know,
like
man.
not a
Romantic
rom-com,
something.
but
Yeah,
like a
Yeah.
romantic movie.
It's kind of like a tragic movie though, where like I guess at the end like it just doesn't work.
Sleepers
And
in
that's-
Seattle? No.
no.
I'm mistaken.
You're really close though. I
it's
don't
something.
know.
Yeah, I love Goo Goo Dolls. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. Like, imagine a band coming out now.
Yeah.
It probably could happen, not in my era of the hardcore world. Like, totally hardcore. Then
Yeah.
next couple albums, like Iris songs, like
Yeah.
it'd be a rap.
City
like,
of Angels.
City
That-
of Angels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meg Ryan, I think.
Yeah.
That's
Is it
right.
Meg Ryan?
Yeah, that's cool, man. I heard those guys
Yeah.
went to shows and stuff back in the
Yeah.
day, and like they were seen at CBGB's,
That's
the
so
Goo Goo
Yeah.
Dolls. Yeah, it's crazy. But I love the melody stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy. Like the sound that you sound like, and your band sounds like. You have such a calm demeanor, and this all the other influence you're into.
Yeah.
It's just totally different. Like watching you perform, watching the videos you perform, and then your style of singing, and there's like a sheer terror vibe, and there's
Dude.
all kinds of influence I'm hearing, and it's crazy, man. It's
Thank you.
yeah, it's intense. I
was
showed my wife a video
yeah.
last night. Like, it's cool.
No,
Thank
it
you.
is dope. It is, I just love the.
I'm psyched to see you. We're gonna come and see. I've
Dude.
never seen you before. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
stoked.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But
Can't
it's
wait.
cool to like see, bands, especially I feel like more so in the
Yeah.
hardcore bands are really starting to, like, hey, like I listen to this other stuff. Why can't I incorporate this
Absolutely.
into the foundation is obviously hardcore.
Yes.
But it's like you can pull
Yes.
from so many different areas.
Yeah.
I
You know?
think the cool thing about hardcore right now is it's like in such an artsy, creative
Yeah, it's beautiful.
phase, and I'm really happy about that because like, I mean, like I spoke with Keith Morris like earlier this year.
It's
and
great.
he
I
said-
watched it. It's great.
Dude, he is
Trust
such
Records one was
he
great.
is so funny. But
He's
he
amazing.
was talking about how he watched a video of ours and our drummer was wearing a Weezer shirt, and he said if he was wearing that when Keith was younger, there's no way he would even get through the door. And I was laughing because I'm like thinking about that constantly now. I'm like, this is hilarious because now like at hardcore shows, it's almost like the opposite, where if you're wearing like a hardcore band shirt, like people are like, okay, like
Wow.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people want you to be wearing like the cool bootlegs and the cool
Yeah.
vintage. Like
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
It's
like
so
kind
interesting.
Of
It
like the
is very
trends
interesting.
and
But for you growing up in the time that you came up, you seem to kind of just like already did that. You seem like you were.
We were going like
rarity
like
as far as
Freddie Hoy,
Your
like
world.
all of us, the whole crew in New
Yeah.
York. We go like to hip hop shows. We go to all kinds of shows. Lollapalooza.
yeah.
I always like different types of music. I wasn't just
Yeah.
hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And but I love how this generation,
Embraces
with
it.
going to see Angel Dust, and
Yeah.
one half of the set, Justice playing acoustic guitar,
Yeah.
and everybody's singing. Then he takes off. He's doing the second half of the set, and everybody's fucking diving. That was incredible, man.
That's
Like I love that shit, man.
I love that so much. And to me, that like I was literally a baby in the 90s. Like I was born in 97, so like I wasn't around, obviously.
so
Um,
sick.
But I think about the 90s a lot when I think about that dynamic because I think about
Yeah.
like I love Sonic Youth. Like I've talked about that. They're like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Are you serious?
I
You're
love
not playing
Sonic.
with me? I
love Sonic Youth. They're like literally one
Oh
of
my-
my favorite bands
Toby,
of all
dope.
time.
there hasn't. Listen,
I
I've
know you
done-
fuck with them hard. I
I've
know
done
you
this
love 'em.
podcast quite a few times. With
Nobody
them,
said that.
and no one has said Sonic
No
Youth.
way.
And I've just been sitting here quietly
Oh.
waiting for someone
No way.
to say
That's
Sonic
so
Youth.
cool.
I
That's dope.
love
I love it.
that damn
Dude.
band.
They're incredible. But so like I think about like hardcore right now and a lot of the bands that are like really popping right now and like the diverse like sound and creativity that's coming out, and like it reminds me a lot of like 90s bands like Sonic Youth.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a band where like in the set they'll be like there's going to be like these really soft melodic parts
Yes,
that like
yes.
you're just like kind of entranced by it, and then the next second they're breaking guitars
Yep.
and it's like
It's crazy. Yes.
sound wall, and
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love that. I think
Mhm.
that's so cool.
That's one of my favorite things about them is that they just went anywhere they wanted to
Yeah.
and just didn't care.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, when you hear it, it sounds like a masterpiece because it's just like insane. It's like, wow. But like you said, then they'll just be destroying the set.
Yeah.
it's like crazy.
And to me, like, that's hardcore. Like, that's so cool.
Not just making music that you want to make and not
Yeah.
worry about catering to a certain everything. You know what I mean? I like that.
And it gives, I feel like it just gives
freeing.
more flair.
Yeah.
And it just like makes it exciting every time. And and to let it evolve the way it's evolving, it's like, let's do that. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like Turnstile, obviously, they're always going to be brought up no matter what. The diversity of that band with the melodies, the breakdowns, the different influences from the 90s and 80s. They're incredible. They're just great dudes. And
I
you know
love
what I mean?
watching that band.
Yeah, they're incredible
so
live.
cool.
And they're so fun and positive. The energy, everything's just like, everything about them, I love it. It's everything I love about hardcore.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like all in one.
Oh, yeah.
The bounciness, the melody, like, I don't know, man. Go ahead, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool to see like diversity in hardcore and so many different fronts of things, and it's like really cool to see the music evolve. I think it's hilarious that there's like people just like punching the air about it too, where they're just oh, it should be different, it should be this way, and it's like, all right, like
gatekeepers,
but like they're just like
something.
It's not even. It's almost like they're like it needs to be this way because that's their view of hardcore. And I really like seeing their face turn red and like just like smoke coming out of their ears and then talking shit on the internet and whatever.
Well, what's funny is like
there's no playbook. There's
no playbook. Also, but like if that's your vision of hardcore, then there's bands that have already done that. There's bands that have already done that. So it's like that's what I don't get when people are weird about things evolving. It's like, hey, you have a section, an area of hardcore that has already done what you're looking for. So why would you want a newer band to do the same exact thing?
I know, man.
This band years ago did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's how I think of it. It's like it's not really fair, and it kind of just keeps things like stagnant.
Still,
Well, that too, and
I was gonna say.
Oh, you go ahead first.
Sorry. I was gonna say, like, on the other side, like as an artist or like playing in a band, like it is kind of fun, and it really scratches that like punk itch to piss people off though. Like at the end of the day, like doing what we do, 100%. For example, like it makes me sad sometimes if I'm in a sensitive mood, but like the rest of the time I'm just like, yeah, fuck them. Like if they're gonna be mad because I'm doing A, B, and C and like I'm doing it unapologetically, like okay, so be it. Like I'm still gonna
when we talk about people are mad, this is internet, correct?
You're right.
Like not the real world.
Like
so your
random
shows,
faceless people.
Exactly. So at the shows, it's love. It's great shows.
No one's gonna say shit.
Internet's so corny
because they're all on the internet. Like they feel like it's like the smallest
group
form of like feeling some sort of like power is to talk shit on the internet when you're not willing to like even like have like a
conversation
or even like they won't even have their face or they won't have like
private accounts.
It's like burners or something. So like to me, I think it's funny because it's like, wow, you really got them, man. But like if I'm gonna say something, like I'm gonna say it with my chest. Like you're gonna know who said it. I'm gonna say it to your face. I'm gonna tag you if it's on the if I think you're
facts.
like I'm gonna tag you. I'm gonna ask you if you have a problem with it. If you want to have a conversation, I'm down.
I love that.
If you want to have an issue, then we have an issue, and that's fine 100%. For me. Like that's how it is. That's just. But like for me, what I see is like a lot of the people, they don't look at like the history of things. Where it's like, all right, like you want to talk about hardcore and like, that's not hardcore. Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys was a hardcore band, and then they
100%.
became one of the sickest rap groups of all time, and they did it like funny, and they did their own thing, and they were involved in the punk world. Like
100%.
you see, there's like pictures of them playing with the Cro-Mags, and it's like, all right, so what are you gonna talk shit on the Beastie Boys now because they did something their way or different? Because they are by definition, like at heart, they're like punk and hardcore,
100%.
and they did it their way. So, like, you look at bands like that. You look at bands that...
Inside Out to Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, Inside Out, Rage Against the Machine. Are you going to talk shit on Rage Against the Machine now? Like,
I just saw Zach wearing a Discord shirt yesterday at a show.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Right now, 2022.
That's so crazy.
So it's like you see these people that it's... When you're making music, when you're making art, you're constantly scratching this itch. You're constantly trying to create. You're constantly trying to have fun. So when people try to tell you what is and isn't this thing... All I have to say with them is like, suck a dick. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, what's your band called? Have you
Yeah.
wrote a song? You ever
Yeah.
played a show before? You ever toured in a van?
Because here's the thing.
Like,
Here's the thing
Yeah.
about us. Like our faces are out there, and we
Yeah.
put our faces out there. We have the
True.
vulnerability
Yeah.
and like the confidence to be able to do so. We don't have to. We're putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
Everything's
I
on
think
the line.
anyone that's putting it out there has bigger balls than someone that just goes,
Facts.
"Hey, I'm gonna talk shit to you online," or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. It's like, what are you putting out there?
Yeah.
I know it's not anything, because if you were putting something out there, you would have a different understanding, and you wouldn't talk shit the way you're talking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I think of it.
And I mean, to like those people who, the way I always say it too is like, if I go further into it, it's like I've seen a lot of people bitter in bands who are like in bands, and they'll get bitter about stuff. And I'm like, I respect anyone who is in a band because I know how hard it is.
Totally.
You know how hard it is to just get a practice going half the time. So you know what I mean.
Organize
so, like,
one practice.
You
yeah.
know, to get in
a
a van,
reply in the-
anyone who's
in the group
hopping in,
chat.
like anyone who's hopping in a van, anyone who's out there doing it, I have respect for them. The only time I don't is when they're not willing to, like, you know, participate. If you're not coming to shows, if you're not supporting the scene you claim, but then you seem to have like a strong
A
opinion
lot of
about it,
opinions.
then I don't care what you have to say. And I'm going to tell you that. And I'm going to make fun of you if you're going to be a dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to tell, like, if you're not out there, like, actively trying to be a part of it, then, like, I don't really see why anyone should support you if you're not trying to support the community that it is, because it
Yeah.
is a community.
It
Like,
is.
everyone's going to know someone that you know. It, like, you know, you're walking down the street, and it's still to this day, like, if I'm walking down the street and I see you wearing a 7-second shirt, first thing I'm going to say is, I love 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh, cool. And then you become friends randomly. Like, stuff like
100%,
that happens
yeah.
all the time. So
So
I
true.
just,
We met because of a shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in a Fugazi shirt.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
the first time I saw Malachi at a show was at Gilman, and it was like what I used to go to shows alone
Yeah.
Wow.
because I didn't know anyone who
Shouts out.
was like,
That's
and I was
sick.
really scared. But I remember seeing Malachi, and I was like, watching the show, and he's wearing a Gorilla Biscuits shirt, and I was like, this is how early on for me it was. I didn't know who they were,
'Kay.
and I went home and I was like, who's Gorilla Biscuits? And I look it up.
I love that you can do that
I-
now. It's
yeah.
sick. Yeah.
I like
It's
saw
beautiful.
the shirt though, and then I was like, "This is my favorite band now."
Oh,
I
wow.
love. It was like, "Whoa, Eureka!" But that was like, that was so insane
Yeah.
to me. Like,
Yeah.
just a T-shirt
A T-shirt.
at a show. Like,
so
A
good. man.
T-shirt can do so
GB
much.
is like the best, man.
dude,
dude, they're
I
great.
love
Good
that
message.
band.
Should I give him a little deep dive?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I sang back up on the whole Start Today record.
No way.
Yeah, if you have the
That's
vinyl,
so
I'm the
cool.
third. I'm the third person
Yeah.
thanked. I lived in the GB house during that recording. They turned me
Wow.
vegetarian in 1988, and then 4 days ago, Chappelle deep dived me doing a stage dive in a live in NYC video in 1991 during Hold Your
During-
Ground. I posted on
No.
my IG. I did like a cartwheel. It was a weird
He,
dive,
he cartwheels across
but
the
he
crowd.
was a
It's insane.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
He was a competitive cheerleader back in the day.
That's
So he
so
respected my dive skills, and I posted.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I was like, the technique was a little,
I mean,
but
GB are the best. They changed my life.
I
Changed my life.
love that band. That's crazy though.
Did
That's
you see them
the-
at Garden Grove Amp when they played whatever that crazy show?
No, I saw
Okay.
them before the like
Gilman.
pandemic at Gilman.
Oh yeah, okay.
Who else played that? It
That was the day
Drain.
after they played the
Yeah,
live. That's right.
yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
Drain didn't play that one because they
No,
played with
Drain
Youth
didn't
today.
play. It
I don't
was
remember.
Gorilla Biscuits,
I forgot it was on that.
and there
run.
was another.
Was Fury on it?
Was it?
I
you?
know
Maybe Fury.
It was Fury.
Fury
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
was, and then there was. I don't know. I honestly can't remember, but I'm
Yeah.
really sad I haven't seen them in a long time.
They'll come
'Cause
back soon.
That was
Yeah.
my first time seeing them, and I was like, fucking losing my mind. I
Yeah.
was so hyped.
Just
so.
the melodies, just that
Mhm.
record in '88, like the way it sounded, the pop sensibility
it's
to
so
it.
catchy.
I
Yeah.
know.
The
Walter's a
songs-
genius. Walter
Yeah.
Quicksand, yes. Shout out to Walter.
He's been in so many good
Incredible.
projects.
Right?
Yeah.
So many. He's just a great musician.
I always tell Tim Armstrong's the West Coast and then
Yeah.
Walter's the East Coast version, like my favorite
Yeah.
like songwriters.
There's
Yeah.
another
Very talented.
genius is Tim. Tim is one of the nicest dudes I've ever
Hell
met.
yeah.
I
All
really
three of
like
us
Tim.
did this podcast too. Each band we did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, but we did it too. Yeah, they
Sam
said you
is-
guys did it. Yeah.
He's like so. He taught me. He like
Oh.
taught me. We can't go
We-
into that
we
because
can't.
it's not
We
out.
can't.
But,
You're
but
spoiling.
he
You
taught me
can't.
We'll
a
have Joe
song.
Vasion cut it out.
Yeah. No.
That's
We
cool.
just can't go into. He taught me a song.
Cool.
And I was like,
Yeah.
Probably an amazing song that you love.
well, it was
A
like
great
it was
band.
like it was like, yo, I'm gonna teach you. And we were like, doodling around on the song, and I was like, oh, sick. And he taught me on the spot, and I'm really bad at doing that because I'm like not the greatest guitar player.
He started playing guitar when Scowl started.
Okay.
So-
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
cool,
He's
though.
like-
I like that.
I played bass before, so I kind of had like I could strum things and stuff,
Yeah,
but like
you know-
I wasn't from like scratch when we started, but like
Yeah.
you know I figured it out, and but so like that was the first time someone taught me a song on the spot, and I could play it with them. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. And now
And it's Tim
since
Armstrong
then-
teaching you the song, which is
yeah, and he
sick.
That
was like, he had a really good way of like showing. He's like, oh, I get what you, and he just showed me, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like he explained it
He's
really
so
well,
smart, dude.
and so
Yeah.
like he was someone, and then he gave us like a bunch of advice, and like that dude is like a genuinely good dude.
Yeah.
So like
100%,
I ride for Tim. That's a good
Yeah.
dude.
Same here.
He's the best.
Like,
Love Tim
He's
Armstrong.
so great.
Yeah, that's right. The podcast. Hopefully that's gonna come out soon.
Yeah.
I have no idea when,
I
but when it
hope-
I don't
does,
even think
I'm
he's
stoked.
announced that he's
No,
doing
I'm sorry.
It, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to Gilman Street. You're going to shows by
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
You're starting to meet hardcore people.
Yeah.
And do you guys meet then at all? And
Around that time.
Yeah.
Like when I first started going to shows, like hardcore shows, like at Gilman and in the Bay, like there was kind of a moment. I think this is like 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
A lot of hardcore bands were really starting to come around the Bay. Like I think, and I remember like I lived in Sacramento at the time, and there would be like a really cool show in Sac like every couple of months. And then I would go to like DIY shows in Chico, which is a little further north, and I'd kind of go wherever I could, whether I knew bands or not.
yeah.
But I was getting more and more into hardcore. I didn't think there was a scene. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, at that time at least,
How old are you then?
like 20.
Okay.
19, 20. So
19.
Mhm.
I remember because I met you when I was like
yeah.
22 or something.
Yeah.
And you were
Wow.
19.
Yeah. But I think at that time I was getting into the bands, like, but I didn't know there was really a scene functioning.
Yeah.
And I really thought there wasn't. And I was like, damn. Guess I have to like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
There's no scene here.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't know people. And I think at that time when it came to like shows and flyers, like you really didn't get to see that stuff unless you were in the circles.
Yeah.
And I started kind of meeting people, and I was like, and in Gilman, there was a lot of like hard time shows getting booked at
Hard
Gilman,
Times, yeah.
and it was like hardcore bands that I
Yeah.
was listening to, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I would drive myself and go.
Wow. It's so crazy.
It freaked me out. It was so
But
scary.
I love your love for it.
Yeah.
And wanting to be
Yeah.
there.
I
It's
had,
so cool.
I had to do something. I was living in like such a suburbia. Like I was not having it. So
Were your parents cool about you going to shows? Or that
um,
type of music you were getting into?
It's funny because when I was younger, my mom and dad kind of did not understand at all, and they were kind of like, "You're weird."
You'll grow out of it.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
like didn't understand, and like I don't think they even wanted to. But then when because I left home when I was like 16, I
Okay.
got out of there. But so I was like living on my own by that point. So I would just do what I wanted. I would be like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And like I had a car and I had a job, so I could support that for myself.
What was your job?
I worked at a place called Nugget Market. It's a chain specialty grocery store
Shouts out.
in Northern
Shout out to
California.
Nugget,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was working there, and I was like bagging groceries and checking
Okay.
out groceries.
Yeah.
Just on your own.
Oh yeah.
Did you have any goals at that point?
Yeah, I just wanted to get out of where I was. I was saving money because I knew I was gonna either live like somewhere in the Bay. I was gonna move to Santa Cruz. I was getting away. I at that time.
But
I
was it
like,
music
anywhere.
at that point for you? Thinking about
I had
doing
never
music?
played music. I wanted to, but I wouldn't tell anyone that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those things like at the time it was like art. I've
Yeah.
always like been like I like to draw, I like to doodle, paint, like I like to sew, I like to use my hands. So
Yeah.
no matter what, it was just like get out, go somewhere, meet people, focus on art.
So was like Toby.
Go, man. Oh, I love you.
Freaking
Go.
talk on the mic all the time.
Go, fool. Go.
So was there no one? Because I would go to
Yeah.
shows by myself
Yeah.
a lot too, but
That's
the reason
right.
being was because none of my friends or
Yeah.
listen to any of the stuff that I like.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of was that the same for you?
It was sort of the same. I had one friend who like really got me into punk, and they
Okay.
got me into like punk and like Riot Girl, and I was like,
Okay.
whoa. And but
Bikini Kill and
I,
stuff like
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really big on that around the same time. And this is also like kind of after like I was already into metalcore and like metal and like I liked hardcore bands that I didn't know were hardcore bands, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So like I wanted something heavier, but I still wanted something punk. So that landed on hardcore like very perfectly. And like I remember like I went to Warped Tour and like Knocked Loose was a band that I was like into.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is hardcore. And then
Damn.
I found out I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's not that long ago.
No.
Not at
I
all.
didn't know they did the Warped Tour. That's crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, they did like one of the last Warped Tours. So I was really hyped on that band. And then pretty quick after that, it was like Power Trip, Ceremony, Sabretooth Zombie, Madball, Gorilla Biscuits,
Yeah.
like all like it kind of like started to happen. But so yeah, I had friends who were into it, kind of, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
my one friend who showed me like punk and like Riot Girl and all this stuff, she was like more into just like the straight up punk stuff. And she kind of like got me into like a lot of like the SoCal hardcore stuff, but she didn't even think it was like that was hardcore because to her hardcore was like metalcore.
It's so crazy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Everybody has their own, like,
That is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, but it just kind of developed, and like I just went like head first because I was like, well, I need to know everything. I need to listen to more bands. Like I like set this weird goal with myself, like to listen to like a new album or demo at least like every day.
Wow.
Like I was like so
Deep
like
dive,
I
like,
was
dude,
like
Yeah.
I was so
love
driven.
that.
The deep dives.
Yeah. And then I had another really good friend, one of my best friends. He was also like, he's into hardcore.
Yeah.
But he was going to college and he was like not really like as dedicated
Yeah,
to like,
yeah.
like I was like, I'm going to go to a show this week. I'm going to go to a show next week. I'm going to go drive 2 hours to San Francisco, come back, open the store tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Like I just was like, I have
Committed.
nothing better to do.
And what was
Yeah.
it for you besides the music? Was it like
Yeah.
the community, the
Yeah.
vibe, everything
I
about
liked
it?
it. I liked
Yeah.
it so much, and like I wanted that. I didn't really have like a lot of where I grew up, like a lot of friends who were into that, like the same stuff as me. So I was like really craving that, and
And you skated too?
I
Skateboarding?
was getting into skating at that time.
Street skating?
A little bit of street, a little bit of park.
Nice.
Right now, I haven't really been skating as much as I want to. It's
Okay.
just
That's
I don't
cool though, yeah.
yeah. I mean, Santa Cruz is now that I live there. There's so much
I
skating.
know. So, yeah, it's like
It's cool.
my wife works at a place called the Barracks. It's like this,
Oh yeah, that's cool.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's nice.
That's
We skate
so
there
cool.
sometimes.
I know. Yeah. We'll get-
It's
we'll get
intimidating,
that,
but yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, it is.
I was gonna say
intimidating.
like skating in Santa Cruz versus like Sacramento,
Yeah.
very different. Like Santa Cruz, like there's like little kids who
Rip.
they rip, and I'm just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the
yeah.
fucking
You
point?
just sit down. I'm like, I'm
You
sitting
get
down.
so bummed.
I give up. Like, why am I even trying?
Yeah.
Like, and like I'm very young, but I'm not as young as I once was. So like I get hurt easier too now, and like
yeah, and you have to go on tour.
yeah, and like I'm busy on tour. Like I don't.
Yeah.
So
What about you, Malachi? Skateboarding for you growing
Yeah.
up?
oh
I grew up skating.
What kind of
Yeah.
street stuff?
I did everything. Yeah, I skate street. I'll skate park.
Nice.
I like bowls and like mini ramps a lot.
Me too.
um,
Mini ramps.
I used to compete for downhill skateboarding.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
like a
nice.
big part of my life for a long time.
Oh damn.
So-
That's sick.
That was like pretty fun. So I just skated everything. I liked bombing hills because you just felt like really free.
In San Francisco, you did that?
Oh yeah, everywhere. Like if there was like a hill
Like
to
those old
bomb, you would
videos.
just
There's,
go. Yeah.
crazy videos of him on YouTube of like him bombing like
Really?
insane
I didn't
hills,
see
and I'm
him.
like, if you like wreck wrong on that, you're going to die. Like I can't.
It's so funny because I don't even know how you
insane.
build up to that.
I know.
I feel like
I-
you just
I
gotta
don't get it.
go.
It was an accident. You do build up, like you learn like ways to like slow down. But what happened was I moved to this town outside of Sac when I was in like freshman in high school, and I had
Yeah.
already skateboarded and stuff, and like grew up skateboarding with friends, and we'd like go and like hit curbs and stuff. And then we just, I don't know, I moved to this town and I didn't really know anyone, and this like skate shop opened up down the street, and I would just like skate over there and like look at their magazines because I literally had nothing to do. I knew no one.
Yeah.
So I would go there, and then I'd like look through these magazines, and the guy there was like, "Oh, like you're into this," and he like showed me videos, and he was like specifically into downhill skateboarding. So this little like specialty shop,
Yeah.
and I became like just really into it. And there was like a group of kids that also did it that were my same age. And then we just started bombing hills together. And then eventually, like, a lot of us got sponsors and started doing it. We're like,
I
we're
didn't
getting
get sponsored
paid.
doing downhill. That's cool.
Yeah, it was like a period of time where it was like really big. Like it was like
Really
What
competitive,
year would that
right?
be? What years?
20, I'd say between 2010
okay.
and 2016.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
really, really, like, a lot of people were putting money into it. There was like whole teams where like we would all go in like vans and like they had like paid for like go to like Puerto Rico or go to like Canada
Wow.
or
Yeah.
something. And they would like, and I was like 16, 17 when like,
Traveling. That's cool.
yeah, it was cool. But I was also like, my poor TMs, like I was just a mess of a kid.
Oh,
Like,
you were?
yeah, I was always into punk and hardcore. Like I always was into that, and I don't blame that by any means. That gave me like direction where I would like hear songs and be like, oh, this is a good message. Like I had a strong moral compass, but like we were like 16-year-old kids, and there would be like dudes my age now who are just like partying, and then we would just party and just do like, if we were at a campground, we'd like light each other's tents on fire with fireworks. Or like,
Also,
you know what I mean?
I feel like
Like,
we're also just like a generation that was like raised on like Jackass.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yep.
yeah.
Good point.
like all sorts of like CKY,
CKY,
and
yeah.
like what else?
Well, that was part of it, but I think my environment was also
skate
just
culture
wild.
too. I feel like at
Yeah.
that time it was just
Totally.
so crazy. I mean, I
Intense.
remember like
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I really want friends like that. Like I was just like, I want to be crazy, but I don't know anyone. Like
We
Did
were
you guys
just,
wear pads and helmets when you do that shit? Or
Yeah,
no?
so we were in Northern California. There was like a style. We would wear like a half shell and slide gloves and
Okay.
just like dress normal. And that was like the style that we did, but it was like the most irresponsible style. But we would like I used to do this thing where my whole spiel was like, I would like bomb hills naked and stuff, like, and just to be like get a laugh out of everybody, I'd be like,
Holy shit.
let's bomb the hill, and all of a sudden you'd see me like kick off like naked and just like pass it. Like there was like
Bruh.
Oh,
That's
man.
nuts.
but like there's nothing scarier if you fall and you're going like 45
Did that
miles.
happen to you
or-
naked?
Yeah, I got road rash on my ass and a little bit on my dick, so it's like I had a raspberry.
I was waiting for that to
Yeah.
Me
happen.
too.
I was like, I'm
shit.
surprised the pavement just didn't rip it off. Like,
oh
Yeah.
I
my
was like,
god,
Yo.
yeah. So I was like,
That's crazy.
we had all kinds of wild stuff, but
that's so insane.
we were just,
Wild kids, yeah.
well, I mean, I liked it though. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we did. We were just like, and it's the time, you're in high school, you're pissed off because you don't want to be home, or like, it depends on the environment. And like my friend's family actually just took me in. Like they were like the ones who like watched out for me, and like
Yeah.
they just called me their own. So like they always took care of me, and I was always with him, and we were always skating together, and we were like, us two together would just like feed off each other. So it's
Yeah.
like he would do like, we would go to like anywhere we went, it was like people would be like, ah, shit. Like they'd be like, they loved us, but they're also like, what are they gonna do now? Like it's
Mhm.
like, so
cause problems.
like we were just obnoxious.
Enabling each other.
Oh, we were like, you can do no wrong. Whatever you do, I'll go to the loony
I'll
bin
one-up
with
you.
you. Yeah. It's either I'll one up you or I'll instigate it. Like
Ooh.
it depends on who's in the mood, kinda.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it was
Malachi has that same like thing going even now. Like we'll be in the van and he'll have like a smile on his face, and I'm like, great. The next like hour and a half is gonna be hell.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hell for like everyone but Malachi, and he
It's
just
fun.
like he loves to fuck with everyone.
Mm.
So it
Not
yeah.
maliciously.
The last tour it was like fireworks,
In-
throwing
in
like
the van?
he would
Oh, no.
throw the little poppets.
Oh yeah.
And then maybe he would like light a firework in the van or light it somewhere in the venue where he shouldn't, and I would get really mad.
We did it one time.
And then like he would just be on a sick one, and like after a show just be like lighting fireworks and like shooting them at people and all sorts of crazy shit.
Well, it was like people we knew. It
I
wasn't
mean, yeah, like our friends, like not just like random.
Yeah.
it
Was
was
you guys like a wild band, like a party band?
Mm,
Nope.
I
Like
don't.
after the shows?
Who's the voice of
I
reason?
really,
in
really,
the
Who's the
really
voice of
band?
don't
reason?
want to be a party band.
Okay.
I don't like to I don't like to overdo it because tour is long and hard, and I like can't. I just
You have to sing every night.
Yeah, like I need my sleep, and it's fun to like do crazy stuff, but like there's definitely like a happy medium in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I also just see like I already know that story. Like I feel like I already know what can happen. I don't want it to get too crazy, so I think we right now are walking a pretty healthy line. We get kind of crazy, but
yeah,
party wise, like I'd almost rather say we're just like we're kind of like funny, goofy people or pranksters, but like I don't want to like go too crazy on the partying.
I mean, I like going to the bar.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I like it's usually me
I
and
don't
Bailey.
have as much fun at the
Like
bar.
we'll disappear and just be like, "Oh, here's the hotel.
Yeah.
We'll meet you guys there." We try not to like lot what we're doing, and it depends on the night because sometimes it's everyone's out.
yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes
it's everyone.
I mean, usually it's like it's one of those things where like it'll be like one of the other people in the band will be like, I'm not really feeling it tonight, and we'll be like, all right, later. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're able to do that, which is cool. And
Yeah.
then like I will say though, there is definitely moments where I'm like, I'm going to celebrate tonight. Like
yeah.
we played our
Madison Square
I was
Garden.
literally about to say our first show in New York ever.
That was your first show
yeah.
with
Oh,
the
really?
Biscuit in
Literally?
Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, it was so
Yo.
insane.
Shout out to Fred, amazing human.
He
Shouts
was
out.
He actually
so
told me about
cool.
you guys a long time ago.
really,
Wow.
One of the first people
he's a
mentioned you
really
guys.
cool dude.
He loves us. He's so
I
cool,
know.
and so nice. I can't believe it.
And it's crazy because if I had met the Fred probably in the 90s,
Yeah.
it might not be like that.
Mm-mm.
Totally different person. I
Yeah.
skate with him and he's just eat with him. He's
He's
just
a
chill.
sweetheart.
So
He's
Madison Square
cool.
Garden is your first New
Dude.
York show? You goddamn.
I was
Wow.
How nervous were you?
I was freaking out. I mean, like, I won't lie to you. I get more nervous for the small shows than the big ones. So, like,
Okay,
playing
that
the
makes
big
sense.
rooms, like, we're supporting, like, everyone's there to see Limp Bizkit. Like,
Kind of no
the
pressure.
only-
It's not a
yeah.
headliner. Okay.
it doesn't feel like pressure in the sense of, like, the only thing that I know I need to do is get the crowd excited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
I'm not worried about them knowing our lyrics or, like,
Yeah.
liking us in the way that, like, I would feel playing a hardcore show or
Totally.
playing like a headliner, right? So I wasn't nervous about that, but it was like, oh, this is MSG. Like, I really want this to be good.
Anybody's families come out for that show?
My sister flew out.
Sick.
Bailey's parents came out.
Bailey's parents flew
Awesome.
out.
Yeah.
Bailey plays bass.
It's a big deal, man.
Yeah, we definitely had a couple. We had like a couple friends like fly out. Like
Oh yeah, we had
that
friends
was
there
really
for sure.
cool. That was
Our,
nuts. But that night, we were out till like 4 a.m. and they gave us like champagne after our set, and I was like, well, I can't waste this. And like I definitely went hard that
Eating
night.
pizza like 4 in.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
wow.
Of course.
It was a mess.
And how was the show? Was it a good
It
show?
was great. I will say, MSG is really crazy. Specifically, like the security there, the way that they run everything, all
Yeah.
Strict.
so much more strict and serious than any other venue. It's
I'm
MSG.
sure. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And then New York has a lot of, I think, union law, labor laws for like people who work in.
Just stagehands.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay,
stagehands
yeah.
and stuff. So
There's
there,
like curfews and all kinds
yeah,
of
Yeah.
exactly. So there
strict.
was a curfew on being on stage for sound check, basically, or around when we were supposed to sound check. It ended up like we had an 8-minute sound check. And so like really quick, we get on stage to play, and I have nothing in my monitors. I'm like, great.
Wait, what's a
Yeah.
normal? I don't know the sound check.
You have some vocals
as
in
far,
your
no,
mind.
as far as
Please
like
hear
how
yourself.
long a sound check should
Basically-
be.
More than 8 minutes.
I mean, definitely,
okay.
like for us, like it's really simple because we don't have a bunch of stuff. We're just a 4-piece. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have.
Okay.
How long is your
anything-
set?
We bumped it up to like 25 minutes for all
Wow.
that, which is insane for us because
Yeah.
we don't have that. I mean, like our album is maybe 12 minutes.
So
Oh, the
like-
LP's like 15
Yeah,
minutes
yeah, it's like
tops.
Oh, okay.
maybe. So for the longest time, we would play like a 10-minute, 12-minute set.
Wow.
And that was the first time we were like, okay, 15 minutes. Whoa. And then after that, we did another tour, like immediately after, full US with this band called Destroy Boys. And
Yeah.
they're so cool.
Mhm.
And we had to play like a 25-minute set. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Like, I was like, how are we going to do that? We just like stretched it out enough. We added like a lot of
Talking between songs.
Yeah, I have to talk a little bit more.
Do you like doing that? Talking between songs?
I'm not very good at it yet. Like, I really have worked on it because I know it's important.
Yeah.
But I'm just a little bit. I get a little awkward. My foot. I put my foot in my mouth a little bit sometimes. Like, I just kind of space out on what to say. I'll think about it before the set always.
Too much, maybe.
But as soon as we're on stage and we're playing, like, I forget everything. I can barely remember my lyrics. To be honest, like,
I do that too. You forget your lyrics sometimes.
Always.
See, that shit's
Do you really?
I forget my lyrics
sometimes, bro,
every set. Every set at
Why?
least.
It's so crazy when that happens, man.
I
You
think-
see too much in your head, man.
Yeah.
I don't
People
know.
trip too.
If I
like,
think too hard about it, I will forget my lyrics. If I'm not thinking about it at all, it's like autopilot.
Oh wow.
But if I'm like, what's this next one? Oh no. And then I just like freestyle, or like I'll just repeat it. Like, honestly, or I'll just like kind of mush it. Like, it is what it is. Like,
Wow.
It's different hearing this because I do stand up comedy.
oh,
so like
you really.
yeah. So like I can't afford to forget because I don't have any music backing me.
But you do short sets too, though.
Yeah, I do short sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like just like
Do you-
as far as like I have to.
You
know.
really have to think about
Yeah.
it. You can't like sit up there with like a piece of paper
No.
and like that is not how that works.
Yeah, because like when you do that, it kind of makes you robotic and not like connect
you
with
want
the
it to be
crowd.
natural.
You want it to be natural. So
Totally.
like when you have like something right there kind of guiding you, it's a
Yeah.
little weird.
That
So I
doesn't
have
make
to
sense.
like. Yeah, and the only way I can practice it is I have to do it all the time on stage
In front of people.
Yeah.
So it's not like I get to like go home and like
Yeah.
do it in the mirror because you're never gonna, and that'll make you robotic as well
Yeah.
because you're doing it at home in front of like a mirror.
Yeah.
You just don't get the connection with the crowd is
Yeah.
just not organic at that point, and you're just like
yeah.
I don't know, just more
That
so
makes
robotic.
a lot of sense though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because realistically, you want people to like relate to you and like want to
Yeah.
understand more
Yeah.
about you and like
Yeah.
have that kind of curiosity. So you have to like create that.
100%. I guess
That's
when I
so
talk on
crazy.
stage, I mean, you've seen me quite a few times.
Yeah.
It's more like I have like a conversation. Like
Yeah.
you can't even really tell that I'm like
Yeah.
doing jokes because right.
It's about your life story, though. That's why it's.
Yeah, it's my life story and like a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's
That's awesome.
so it's interesting to hear that you guys forget lyrics because
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
damn, I couldn't
You're like,
afford that.
no way.
Yeah, I'm like,
But I'm
oh,
never
what?
gonna have a teleprompter though.
Yeah.
I won't do that.
Okay,
I'm not doing
Seeing
that.
a band play with a teleprompter is
Yo.
really crazy.
Crazy.
I'm just like, no way. Like, I could
underst-
have that one day. Like,
I understand Ozzy. I've
Yeah.
seen that before. I
Yeah.
understand that, but
Oh
like,
yeah, man.
I'd rather forget the word than have that on the stage.
yeah.
well, it's hidden.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
no
usually
one
hidden.
really
Well,
because
some
hidden
aren't
to
sometimes.
everyone,
so,
though.
yeah.
but you have the barrier, and if
True.
it's hidden properly, like no one will know.
it's
That's
hidden to
just
the
like
crowd, but
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the crowd. There's no way the crowd could see it in certain ways. Like I've seen big bands like
Yeah.
do it, and I've been side stage and been like, "Yo, that's what that is," and it makes sense. Because sometimes it's like if you're doing like an hour, 2 hour
Yeah.
set, I could see how you might
Yeah.
forget a word or two. Like I
True.
could, I'm gonna defend them. I'm gonna defend it. I understand why you would never want to, and I also understand why it's there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Especially if you've been a band for a really long time. Like
Yeah.
if you're like the Rolling Stones, you're like,
Okay.
fuck it.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, what are these lyrics?
they got hundreds of songs.
Yeah,
at
they
this
have
point.
so many songs, and like,
That's crazy.
and it's just it like,
He's got to remember his dance moves.
yeah, he's got to
you know
remember his
what I mean?
dance
Like,
moves,
he's got
and
a little
impressive
thing.
if he doesn't use a teleprompter. If he doesn't, I think it's very impressive that he
Yeah.
doesn't. But if he did, I'd get it.
Respect.
Yeah,
I had a band years ago where they're like, "Hey, will you be the vocalist in the band?" And the story behind it's pretty wild, but I said yes. And they're like, "Can you do this?" And I was like, "Are there lyrics?" They're like, "Nah, like we have these songs." And like I didn't really. I was like, you just need me to fill in or something. And I was like, "Sure, I'll do that." So I like showed up and wrote out lyrics. They sent me the things, but I didn't really remember them. So I just had like a sheet of paper on the drum kit. And I like turned around. I was like, "That's the song," and like, you know what I mean? Like almost like a set
I've
list.
heard of people who like their set list, they'll like put the first line of every song underneath the
And that
song.
would just click.
Yeah.
So that, like kind of get that kickstart. Because I mean, sometimes like, I'm not gonna lie, we've been playing before where I've like started a song out and I've like been singing the wrong lyrics in the beginning. Like I've been like, that's a completely different song. What am I
That
doing?
is so funny.
I do that I just don't have a very strong brain.
Oh,
To
okay.
be honest.
It's strong.
Wait, so the lyric sheet thing in the studio?
Yeah.
Do you-
If you're writing a brand new song, recording a new
Oh,
album,
yeah,
of
you
course
don't know-
have it in
you-
there.
yeah.
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because
that you
also
can't-
personally, when
they
you're
change a lot.
recording, I was gonna say when you're recording, also at least in my opinion,
Yeah.
like sometimes you're doing stuff and you're like, this just doesn't flow right. I'm gonna take that out. Like,
True.
or I have to add in something else here. What works? What rhymes with whatever? Okay, like for me, it's like my phone, my notes app,
Yeah,
Just like-
yeah.
backspace, type, whatever. But that makes sense. I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when Limp Bizkit took Madball to England.
I
It was
heard
like the
about that.
first hardcore band they took over there, and people kind of tripped on, like, oh my god.
Oh, they played like the O2.
Yeah, they didn't know the
right?
connection. So fast forward to you guys going on tour Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
What is it? Are we in the world now where kids are like, that's sick? You with
They
Limp
were
Bizkit?
stoked.
Yeah.
A lot of people were really stoked about it.
It's cool.
Like hardcore people, you know,
That's
like
dope.
that.
No
that
one was
was
hating.
That's
cool.
amazing.
That I
love
saw,
that.
no one was hating
And
on
we also had like some people come out who like were in the crowd singing along to us, like came there for us.
Wow.
That's so cool.
But they were also like, I get to see Limp Bizkit. Like
yeah.
that was really cool too.
Yeah.
That's
I was
We
like,
would
damn,
fill
that's
up the-
dedicated.
every
Sorry.
show every night. I would, if I knew someone in the hardcore scene, I'd go, we have this amount of spots.
We also had a lot of
So
guest
I would
spots,
go,
so we
if
would like
you
invite a lot of
want to
friends.
come out, here's how many people, just fill it up, send me the names, and they would come out, because I was like, yo, like
Yeah.
this is a
cool.
very, the tickets are a little more, they're at
Totally.
bigger venues. So I'm thinking to myself, like, if I could just have homies come out and we could hang out, and like they don't have to pay
And they can.
a bunch of money and we get to hang out, awesome. So like I would just load up the list every night
cool, man.
with at every show.
That's dope.
And
We did
be
really
like,
try to
bring
get
What a
our
cool way to
friends
do
out.
that. Yeah.
because I was like, not every band on the bill is hardcore, but they have there's everyone was fans of bands on the bill no matter what.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
they were great. Everyone on that package was great.
Yeah.
Everyone had their own thing going. I think to honestly, like getting to know everyone in Limp Bizkit more too, they started out so DIY.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so like they have such a punk ethos to it. And like
It's so
they
awesome.
had like the, if you're hanging out with them and they tell you all about it, it's like, they did it just like the rest of us.
I
and
agree.
Yeah,
That's
wow,
true.
that's
and they were
amazing.
really cool to all of us. They had a lot of people from the hardcore and punk scene on the crew who like
Yep.
we would be eating food and they would be telling us stories like
Was
oh,
Big
we-
Chris out there?
Yeah.
too?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Best.
the
Shout out to Big Chris, the best, dude.
legend. He's
That's
the best.
homie.
He's so
so
cool.
cool.
He made sure
Yeah, he met Big C. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's so nice.
he is
best,
super nice, really cool. Everyone, and like I just couldn't. I'm so thankful that we had that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to be and like get to know everybody and learn a lot about things like just past and like present things that I had never experienced before.
It's cool.
So,
man.
It was really cool.
How long was it? How many shows?
We did
I think we did like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
9
It's like
or 10
Nice.
shows.
Oh, that's good.
we left
There's-
from that one to start the Destroy Boys one immediately after. Did the
Yeah.
full US and then left the van in LA and flew to Europe for
you
the
guys
first
just did
time
Europe. Yeah, Europe and UK, right?
Yeah,
that
so
was
we
our
did-
First
over there.
time?
ever.
It was
Yeah.
so cool. I like could not believe it. It was so cool. I was so anxious at first though, like that first week of being
Yeah.
there. I was like, so far everything's gone wrong.
Shows-
Other than the shows. The shows were
Shows are
amazing.
good.
Shows were
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So
The shows
festivals
were
too, or just
fantastic.
shows?
Lots of
Yeah,
festivals.
really cool people out there. Great scene.
Was your first time in Europe too?
Yeah, I
Awesome,
learned
man.
a lot of things about Europe. One, everything is sparkling water there.
Yes.
There's a lot of like room temperature beverages.
Yes. No ice.
No ice, and I love
Yes.
iced black coffee. That's like the one thing. So
Good
I
luck.
was
Go
like,
back to America.
I was
Yo.
like, oh shit, they don't have this. And then they give you so much beer.
They do
So,
a lot of beer.
Night
Really want you
one,
to drink.
all of our homies were at this fest. We were all playing together. The whole lineup was friends.
Sick.
By the time the last band came on, I was passed out in the green room.
He was
Like,
on the floor in the
like,
green room.
just snoring.
And
Like I
to
dropped
make it,
beer.
Yeah,
I like
to like even further the situation, I watched him spill a beer and then lay in the puddle. And then later on that night, he's passed out on the floor in the puddle. Everyone walks in. And they go, I think Malachi pissed his pants. Like that's how
Damn.
fucked he was.
Damn.
And
Was
I
this
was like,
Outbreak Fest?
no,
No,
it was
I was
full
more
force.
sober
Oh,
for
full
that.
force. Sick.
Yeah.
Great festival.
And
It was awesome.
Everyone's like, "Oh, Malachi peed his pants." And I was like, "I don't think he did. He spilled beer earlier." And I'm like trying to defend him. We finally get him up. We're trying to go. We have an overnight drive to Paris.
You guys in the van or bus?
Like
van.
a sprinter.
Sick.
I'm like, come on, Malachi. He finally gets in the van and he goes, everyone said I peed my pants. I didn't pee my pants. Like, he's going off and he looks at me and he goes, you told everyone I peed my pants. And I was like, no, I was defending you. I was literally defending you. It was so funny. That was like the first, like.
I got up, and the moment that it happened, I looked down and I was like, that doesn't look right. And I was like, oh, like, they're like, you pissed yourself. And for a split second, I was like, oh my God, I might have peed. And then I was like, no, I didn't. And the whole room standing there, it's like all our homies there.
Oh, man.
And I go, everyone look. And I drop my pants and my boxers are dry because it was just on my leg.
It was like,
so I was like, how the hell could I have peed my pants if my boxers are dry? Like, and then I was like, look,
that was
our friend was there who was giving me the most shit about it. I was like, look, and I rubbed my hand and just rubbed it across his face. I was like, that smell like pee to you. He's like, oh, he's like, no. Like, it was like, but it was, I felt like I was on trial.
You were.
And to be honest, I would have owned it if I peed, but thank the
he
heavens
beat the allegations.
that I was able to drop trial and my boxers were dry, because I would have never lived that down. I would have just been pee pants forever.
Yeah.
Would have been pee
This man's
pants.
a thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, those overnight drives kind of hard sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Because sleep's so important. People don't think about when you're a singer, like sleep is so important for your voice. That's like the main thing. That's so important, man.
The overnights are pretty brutal. I'm like, that's the one area where I get kind of like, I turn into a baby. If I don't get enough sleep on tour, I'll just break down.
Do you worry about your voice on tour?
Yeah. This last 3 months, though, surprisingly, like, I did really well. Like, my voice was holding up great. But I was
do
also
warm-ups and stuff?
I was doing warm-ups.
Best.
I was doing cool downs are the best for me. And then I've done like some vocal like I did like a session with like a vocal coach like before tour, and I learned so much about technique.
Was she out here or no?
So I did it over Zoom.
Was it Melissa Cross?
No, it was a guy.
Okay.
And I can't remember his name right now, but he was so cool, and he's like worked with a lot of people who have done like heavy vocals and stuff. He knows what he was doing, and he taught me a lot about technique, and I used all that, and my voice was doing great.
That's
like
awesome.
So much better. I mean, the other thing is like I really do avoid like sugar and caffeine like before we play.
Oh, does that really
like,
mess it up?
Yeah.
It does.
Okay.
Sugar, caffeine, dairy. Yeah, it's
Anything
cold
fun.
drinks.
He said anything fun.
Anything fun.
But yeah, so sleep, taking care of your diet, like taking care of yourself, like
so important.
warming
out
up,
there
cooling down.
Yeah.
Like, so I have to be a little bit of like a princess, unfortunately.
You're the singer, man. You have to.
Yeah.
I do the opposite. I eat like
he like
I ate kebab.
He
every
wows out.
night.
I can tell.
Yeah. He destroys himself. So
When I get home, I'm immediately
back to the gym.
back training
Nice.
and doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
That's
hell
how I
yeah.
broke my ankle. So I
he
was
broke
like,
his ankle at the gym.
I'm walking around in this boot, and it's
Did
like,
a weight fall on you?
No,
No.
I was sparring, and I stepped back. I did like I like jumped back a little bit, but my toe, when it caught the mat, and my weight pulled it, so I just rolled. I got like a avulsion fracture, so like the tendons just pulled it and it cracked.
It's looking
I heard
kind
the
of crazy
pop.
right now.
Yeah, I mean the swelling's gone down a lot right now, and
No surgery though.
not that
We
I
don't
know
know
of. I mean
They really don't.
the hospital people didn't say like I might have to get an MRI on it or something, but they didn't. I don't know. I called them. And they said they'd call me back, and so I called them like 5 hours later just to double check because we had to leave. And I was like, hey, just try. They're like, oh, we'll high priority it. We'll get back to you. And like the next, didn't hear. So we go on this trip. Get a call yesterday. Like, oh, we messed up your input. I was like, all right, dude, I'm just going to, I have this boot. It's fine. And it's not like it's going anywhere. It didn't fall off. So it's like, we'll fix it when we fix it. I'll just wear crutches. Because I know I have to be in this for at least a few weeks.
He's so focused on standing up to play the set on Saturday. And I'm like, dude.
I'm not going to sit in a chair. I'm 27, not 67. You know, like I didn't break my ankle, and like I'm not like, oh my God, it's years.
I saw back in the day. I saw Fat Mike broke his leg, and they pushed him out on the couch. And
Oh
so
my
like 30,000 people headlining festival, and he killed it laying on a couch, but his whole leg was broke. It was
Oh my
it was so
God.
fucking crazy, man.
He's
just to see that.
awesome, like because he's a showman.
He
He's
totally
like,
Yeah. That's funny.
Is this your first band?
Yeah.
Wow, man. Holy
Whoa.
shit. This is my first band too.
That's so
I've only
cool.
been one band my whole life.
That's so cool.
Wow.
No other bands either. Yeah.
That's like
Never.
No,
We got
you're
lucky.
No, you did
Hazen
Hazen
Street.
Street.
Yeah, but this is my big. 26 years in this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Hazen
Oh,
Street.
got
That
it,
was like
got
for
it.
1 year, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
I
But
feel
the
like
only thing, like, yeah.
everyone always looks at me and they're like, "No way," and I'm like, I don't even know if this band is good or not. I mean, like everyone else in the band's good. I am like still figuring it out though. I'm
Yeah.
like very insecure about like even being good at this. Like I feel like I trip out every day because I'm like, how did I trick all these people? Like,
What is a major influence for your sound of your voice or even the band? Because
Yeah.
there's so many different influences I hear.
Oh yeah. For my vocals, honestly, I would say like Ross from Ceremony. I also really like that band Regulate.
Okay. heard them,
I
yeah.
don't sound like them, but like that was like a really big band to me when I first was like, I kind of want to sing in a band.
Yeah.
Like, it was like I listened to them a lot.
Where are they from? Regulate.
Long Island, New
Okay,
Jersey.
No,
yeah.
Jersey.
Um,
Shore style.
And they're like
Shore style,
yeah.
they're so cool. But yeah, I didn't really have a lot of influences that I was aiming for when I first recorded vocals. I just
Yeah.
kind of did what I could do with what I had,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it came out how it came out. Now I'm like learning more about technique, and I'm trying to like do this or that, like with my sound. Like there's some like, I feel like there's this like really growly like fried sound that you get when you listen to like certain like D-beat bands or like the Germs or things like that, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. So like
Yeah.
there's some of
Shouts
that.
out the germs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And then there's also this thing lately that I really like that I notice certain vocalists will do, where it's like this like soft to like really like growly, like angry, like almost like Danzig-y yell.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like that's like a big one right now. I'm like really listening to a lot of like Danzig and like Misfits, and I'm like this like croony, angry, like yelling is so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
but yeah, it's a developing thing for sure.
But like Seed to Grow, that
Oh
song,
yeah, yeah.
it's got a very like Polly from X-Ray
Oh.
Specs vibe.
And
I
that's
love
cool.
your voice on that so much. I
Thank
love all the
you.
other songs.
Joe, you know what's so crazy is when you
Because I just
when I
watched
heard
that
you-
doc the other day too.
when I heard you playing it, I asked if that's who that was.
I
And then you were like,
know.
no. I was like, what?
That's so crazy.
So-
Yeah,
so
Are you
straight
kidding
up.
me?
No,
No,
I played it for my
real
wife
talk.
too, and my wife said it too. And my wife's like, "Oh,
That's
gee,
so
That's
cool.
literally who I thought it was.
When
Like,
I was
I like that
singing,
singing style too. You
I mean-
do. I love it.
trying to do some more of that for sure. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, but I want to figure out how I can do everything,
All of
like
it.
how to
Yep.
make it consistent, right?
Stick to Your Guns. You guys are going on
Yeah.
tour with them. I see
Yeah.
that. Shout out Stick to Your Guns. But they do that too. They have the
Mhm.
melody and the hard. And
Yeah.
I love Jesse's voice.
Dude, talented, so talented.
So that kind of vibe, like singing
Yeah.
it and like yeah.
Yeah. I'm really when we recorded that song at that time, I was listening to a lot of like the Cranberries,
Woo.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Fuck yes.
Um,
Like the Sundays.
yes. Oh my goodness. So
Damn.
I never recorded myself singing like
yeah.
that.
So was
like,
that were you nervous?
Super nervous. I didn't expect it to happen, which was kind of a good thing. It made it more organic. But at that time, I was just like, well, I don't know what style I want to go for with like clean vocals or like singing vocals. So I'm just gonna do what comes out. And now it's like actually funny when we practice and play that song. I'm like, how can I do more here? Like I always think about that. How can I like project more, and how can I do add more flair to this? Because if I try to sing it how it's recorded exactly, like I'm just it's gonna sound like a little mouse.
Do you sing it
singing.
like you sing that song live like that?
Sometimes we
Are you
don't
playing, are you
always
playing
do
it
it.
Saturday.
We have a different
I don't
song
think
Okay,
so.
well,
I don't think we
okay.
are. But we have another
You're gonna
surprise.
really like
we have
the
another
song we
surprise
have
for,
for Saturday,
for,
though.
But
for
but
that
I
set.
love that I don't know. I just when I heard that I was like, holy shit, because you listen to all the other
Yeah.
stuff and like, holy shit, she's singing too like this.
It's hard to do
I
live
back it.
because
It's
as I play really loud because
Yeah.
of, like it's just hardcore.
he plays so loud I
but
can't hear
doing
myself.
that
Turn it down, man.
I
Go ahead.
do. It's at like a 1.
Oh,
but
he
I
plays
just
on
my
all
head is
soft
really
tech.
loud.
Yeah.
Everything's so loud.
Oh,
And it's hard because like when you're on the road, you never know how the monitors will be. You
Oh,
never
facts.
know. So it's hard because if we're playing loud and Kat can't hear herself, then it's not gonna come out. You know how she
Well-
wants it to come out, and then if we can't hear shit because we're in our own little like rhythm
Yeah.
zone.
I mean,
So
when
like
when I'm like growling and yelling, that has a lot of projection and it's loud. But when I'm singing, it's a lot softer. So it's also just challenging to like get the mix right for both
Yeah.
of those things. So a lot of times if we do play the soft song, we open with it. So it's like
Smart.
a really easy, like settings are good to go. And as soon as that song's done, sound guy can just like
And how do the Scowl fans like? Did they hear that song?
a lot of people really like it, which
Yeah.
blew my mind. I was really worried. I think a lot of people actually really fuck with it. And that
You're like, what? You had this the whole time in there?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
excited.
That's amazing.
Well, that's kind of how the band was when we did it too, because we weren't really. I wasn't planning to sing on that track. It was just gonna be like this like nice instrumental thing, and then they're like, "Do you
Dude, so
want to
good.
lay vocals on it?" And I was like, "I think." And then I recorded it, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?" And like that kind of like
Yeah.
got me excited because I was like, "Oh, like I can do this." Like I did
Yeah.
choir in high school,
Yeah.
but that was it. I wasn't like outstanding. Like
Traditional.
I'm
Yeah.
not, So that was cool. That felt like such a like pat on the back. I was like, okay.
No, I love that. Not compared to Freddie Madball, but when we did
Yeah.
the Hazen Street stuff, there was singing stuff that he
Yeah.
wanted to do, and I got Freddie and Hoy to do vocal warm-ups with me.
Wow.
We were like warming up on tour every night for the Warp Tour, and then
Yeah.
going in the studio with Ross. I forget the guy, Robert. I forget the guy who did the record, and those guys were like singing and trying to sing. For us, I want to sing. I'm like, oh shit,
That's crazy.
you're like a crooner. Like you have some shit in there.
That's
you know what I mean?
so crazy.
It's funny hearing Freddie Madball go, I want to sing.
I know. Just him and Hoy doing warm up. Hoy just like break my balls about the whole time. But we would do warm ups
Yeah.
and shit. But just to see try something else and you
Yeah.
have that in you, it's fucking.
Even doing like the vocal warm ups and like the cool downs, like if we're playing a hardcore show and like I go to the green room to do that stuff and everyone else is there, I get so insecure. I'm like, oh great. Like I wish I could hide to do it because like everyone kind of is like, what the fuck? Like I'm just
But it's your
I feel
tool.
so
It's your
bad.
voice.
Yeah.
It's what you do. It's
yeah,
like
I want it to last
Your
as
instrument,
long
yeah.
as
you're an
possible.
yeah.
And I don't want to like ruin it. Like I
Mhm.
really, really don't want to be like 20 years down the line and be like, well, I can't sing anymore. Like
I know the singer from Avenged had a couple of surgeries. He talked
Yeah.
about in here. Davey had a couple of surgeries for his
Yeah.
throat. Like it's
Is
no
it
joke.
because they weren't properly
Not
taken
necessarily,
care of?
just a lot of strain,
it's
a lot
it's
of
a
years.
lot of
It's-
strain. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it does build up, and it also is like your genetics.
Mhm.
Sometimes like you're more prone to certain injuries, and your vocal cords are muscles, so it's like it's no different than the rest of your body. You know,
Yeah.
if you're working a certain muscle a lot and like genetically or whatever it is, like you might be more likely or more less likely to injure it.
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
And I feel like consistent shows in a row,
Mhm.
instead of like I do two shows on the weekend, like going 10 or 12 shows in a row, it's better for my voice. I get used
Yeah.
to it, get into a routine.
was
Wait,
gonna
say
say-
it again?
Like I'd rather play 10 shows in a row than 2 shows in a
Yeah.
row. Because your voice gets warmed up on like a European
Yeah.
tour like that.
Okay.
You
Right.
know every day you have to do it. You guys
Yeah.
have days off on that tour in Europe? or
We
no?
in Europe we
Nah.
had no days
That's
off.
how we do is bang
Yeah.
them out,
Just
man.
like-
yeah.
We, to be honest, on 3 months of touring with like maybe we had like a week here and there to make drives, and then like we had like some random days off. My voice was happier than like we got home and a week later we played like a one-off, and my voice was all of a sudden like I was like, whoa, why is it hurting?
It's
I've
crazy
literally
how it
gone
happens,
3
man.
months, like it
Yeah.
was fine,
Yeah.
and I was kind of tripping out, but I was like, it's fine. It's just been a weird, like I just got home, I'm jet lagged, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I also had a week off, and I haven't worked this muscle in like a week.
So is
How
this-
did yours do with the 2 sets with Hazen Street?
That's
H2O?
because I called my warm-up coach and she FaceTimed me right before a 3-hour practice with
I know,
Hazen
but
Street.
like when it was all said and done, like
Good.
you-
I did two sets. We did H2O and Hazen Street 2 days in a
Wow.
row. I just sing 4 times, and I was stressing that for
Dude.
months, man.
Yeah.
For months, because those songs are different. They're higher.
Mhm.
But yeah, I did good because I warmed up. She really saved me with that.
Mm.
Shout out to Melissa Cross.
Sick.
So you guys have a lot of tours coming up, right?
Yeah.
The Bronx too.
Yeah.
Coming.
Oh
That's
my
a
it's
great
not,
band.
Damn.
It's not announced yet.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Where did I see that?
I
at? How
mean,
the
but
fuck
it's
I know
cool.
that?
It's
Delete it,
well,
delete
it's
it.
probably
Is
somewhat.
it? I'm gonna
I
look
saw
to-
it somewhere, man.
Did they post it?
Bronx
don't
are
think
We
dope,
just don't
man.
know.
Well, yeah,
Someone-
because
I
how'd
mean,
you know?
I could take it off here, whatever.
No, it's
No.
okay. It's okay. I was just laughing because I was like, I don't think that's announced yet. But if we're gonna talk about it, that's gonna be really cool. I'm really
That's
excited.
insane,
Well, that's
yeah.
gonna be like another month, and then we're gonna go to the UK with Stick to Your Guns.
Saw that. That's a great.
That'll be
fucking-
cool. And then we're working out some other stuff. We might have like some headliners on the East Coast. We're still
Nice.
working that
That'd be
out.
fun.
I'm just excited because we haven't really played like our own like hardcore shows, like string of shows in so long.
Yeah.
To be honest, we've just been so busy doing support and like, which has been really cool. We've had like crazy opportunities like Limp Bizkit, and then we did Europe. So we haven't been home to like really do our own stuff.
Is this your full-time
Europe
thing?
Oh, sorry. I was saying that Europe was just festivals, right?
It was festivals
probably,
and like we had a couple headliners, and then we did support. We also did like a couple support dates for Touche Amore.
Oh, sick. Awesome.
I love
great
that
band as well, man.
They're so cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Great people.
Is it hard? You guys work? Is this your full-time thing right now?
Kind of, but like we were all working like before this last tour. And then we were working in between tours, you know, like finding side jobs and stuff.
We're still figuring out, like, you know, we're doing the starving musician thing, you know, like still working it out, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
People like, it's funny too, because people, when I came home, they're like, man,
they really thought we were making money for some reason.
They thought we were making all this
like,
money, and I was like, what money,
Where
dude?
did you get
Like,
that idea?
You didn't get paid. Yeah.
I mean, they made sure we were taken care of, but
they
it wasn't
definitely
like,
took care of us.
I didn't walk away with thousands of dollars every night.
That would have been crazy.
Isn't it crazy how people think of that?
Yeah.
Think
So delusional about the band. Like
People definitely assume because you're like gaining momentum or some sort of success as a musician that equals like money, and that's not how it works.
It's the same. It's the same way with stand-up comedy. Like no matter how often I go on the road and do all these shows, people think it's like, damn, you're like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, what?
I used to work at Trader Joe's in Capitola.
That's a good job. I heard they have good insurance.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
great, solid job.
Shout out to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, worked there for 3 years in Capitola, which is Santa Cruz, basically. I went in the other day. I came home, you know, after 3 months of touring. Went in, saw one of my old managers. He was like, "Wow, I'm so proud of you. I didn't think you were living in Santa Cruz anymore. I would have thought you like would have packed up
You're in
and
the
moved
hills,
to
girl."
LA." Yeah. And I was like, "No, I'm still here. This is home right now." And then, bless his heart, he's like, "Well, you must be like just having the greatest time. You're like making all this money, blah blah blah." And I was like, I made more money at Trader Joe's. Like,
people don't realize how hard it is to like.
You
start
like? You
making
have any openings? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was like, well,
I'm home right now.
The reason why I'm here.
Yeah,
that's kind of where it's. I mean,
but it's also like you just have to love it. You just have to grind it out.
100%.
Hope for the best, and I'm happy to be doing that. I'm way happier on tour than I am like working at a grocery store.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That's why I do it.
that's like
Go ahead.
an option. It was like I was working for the county, and I was like overseeing multiple homeless shelters, and I was working in homeless service, and the program I was in was coming to an end, and they were like, hey, like we might have something else for you, like we really like what you're doing. And I was stoked because like I really enjoyed that work. It meant a lot to me, and it was like do these tours and keep touring throughout the year, like trying to just, you know, go on the road when I can.
Yeah.
Or have like a career job. And I was like, I'm gonna go on tour. Like I was like, but it was like a crossroads. It was like have a career or be wondering how you're gonna make rent when you get home. And I was like, you know what? I've been poor my whole life. I had a good job through when I worked with them. It was great, you know, but that was because COVID. So like no one was playing shows. I couldn't go anywhere. I was like kind of at home. My world was a lot smaller during that time. So I was like, you know what? I know I can do this. I know I can buckle down and do like career stuff.
Yeah.
But I love music and stuff. So I'd rather do what I do and try to make ends meet. And if I have to scramble, I can do that. I've done it my whole life. So I'm going to see where these opportunities go.
Yeah.
And you
like,
guys are young, man. It's just like,
well, it's memories. Like I don't
Totally.
want to be, you know, 50, 60 and be like, man, what?
I wish I would have.
That's my biggest fear.
Like,
that's why I started a band though, because I was terrified, and I told you I wanted to do a band, and he's like, all right, word. And I was like, oh no, like I don't actually know if I want to do that, you know. And he's like, no, it's happening. Like we're gonna do this, and that was like such a leap for me personally. Like just making that commitment to like really step out of my comfort zone, because I was very shy and like anxious about putting myself out there that way. And then like now, it's like had such a crazy outcome at this point that I would have never expected, and I'm really grateful for. but I could never look back when I'm like, in my 50s or something, like, or even in like 10 years and be like, yep, I was too scared.
Yeah.
I wanted to be comfortable. It's
Yep.
like, no, like, I don't want to regret not taking those leaps.
Yeah.
So,
Who came up with the name Scowl?
he did. It was the first name that we were talking about names, and he said, well, what about Scowl? And I was like, that's cool to me.
Yeah,
I
it's
like that a
cool,
lot.
Yeah.
It's short. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like, I like the like one word short, like easy to remember.
Yeah, it's
like,
perfect.
I think it's cool. And
Yeah.
then a little bit later, we were kind of like, what should we do for a logo? And I was like, I want it to be kind of cute. So I was like, I'm going to put a flower in it.
It works too.
So,
and so
totally
you dropped the first demo in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote all that. Wrote those songs when I started playing. Like, I practiced guitar for a week. And then,
What?
Like,
Not a week. It was like a month. We were
it
like,
was like
we wrote
a week,
the songs.
but then I started writing the songs while learning guitar. So
Yeah.
like,
That's
Oh, got it.
so
cool,
like
man.
They're
all
really,
of those
really
were like,
just punk.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
just straight punk. Like, I had no idea what I was
I
doing.
mean, those are also like the first songs I ever wrote, like lyrically. Like,
Oh yeah.
growing up, I did like poetry a lot and stuff, but like I never really was like, I'm gonna write a song. Like,
Yeah.
I was too scared. But yeah, that was crazy. Because looking back, like it's hard for me to listen to that demo now. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god.
We like did it in our buddy's garage while
Yeah.
he was getting. He's doing really well recording now, but we like did it when he was like
Just starting out.
He's still
kind of.
learning.
He had done some other stuff, and he's pretty talented. His name's
Yeah.
Mark. He records up in the Bay, and he's great. And then the other stuff we did with our friend Toshio, who plays in this band called No Right, and Toshio's extremely talented as well. And he actually pushed for Kat to sing on the soft
Yeah.
song, and I was like, he was like, dude, you guys got to sing on this song. And like, Toshio gives me shit all day because I like to heckle my friends, and he knows where, like, because he's an amazing musician,
Yeah.
so he loves to just like be like, do it again, not your best, do it again.
Yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
loves to mess with me. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, and I can't get him back. I don't have a pot to piss in when it comes to that.
Yeah, when it
he's
comes to
right.
that.
Yeah, like because I can't just be like, well, I do. Nope. He's just like, he knows it better than I do, and he's right. If I'm playing like shit, he's gonna tell me, and I
Yeah.
respect him for that. But he had a lot of really good ideas where like it was cool to have some fresh airs. He just gave, he didn't push for anything, but he was like, hey, like, I think you guys should sing on this. So Kat sung on it, and that was like, I'm really stoked that he did push for that, because now
Yeah, I'm really
now
happy
it kind of
about that.
opened up doors in our mind to like experiment with like different things and songs, and like
Yeah.
we're always gonna be writing the hardcore sound we have, but it's fun
Yeah.
to mess around with other stuff too.
And then some of the songs were on the EP after that, right? Was EP come
Yeah.
before
So-
Reality after
so
Reality?
yeah, the
Reality After Reality was the EP.
EP,
before
okay.
yeah. So we did the
Out.
demo, then
2019.
Reality, and then How Flowers Grow was like a year later.
Yeah. and
That's, and that's like technically, I guess it's like it's our LP.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's like
I feel like that's a lot, man, for like 3 years. It's amazing.
we
man.
really
A
hit
lot
the
of
ground
songs.
running.
Mm-hmm.
We
We're
really
just
wanted
riding.
to. That was like the one thing. I had never been in a band, but I watched a lot of friends' bands do this thing where like they would like kind of have these moments of being stagnant, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like I want to
Mhm.
really like take this serious. Like it doesn't have to be serious at the end of the day, but I want to take it serious.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I want to like hit the ground running. I want to tour. I want to like play as many shows as I can, and I
with
want to
different types
keep
of bands
writing.
too. I love that
Yeah.
you're already doing that right off the
Mhm.
jump. Like you're already doing the Biscuit tour
Yeah.
like a couple years in.
Yeah,
You know, like-
exactly.
We like touring with whoever wants to, like, it's fun.
And,
like,
and
Yeah.
try to win over a
up.
crowd is cool too. You can always play the same crowd,
Yeah.
but like I like that challenge,
Mhm.
It's, yeah.
It's cool also, like I will say, like I think like every person in hardcore can relate to this, where you're like, you just want to get like young people into it. Like you want them to know what this is because
Yeah.
of how fucking cool it is and
Yeah.
how cool it was for you when you were young and you got into it. So like the tour with Destroy Boys was awesome because their fans are like teenagers who that was like their first show or their first punk show.
Yeah.
So us playing that opening up for them like felt really cool because I had a lot of like talking to fans who told me like this is my first show,
yeah.
and I got excited because I was like, oh, okay, that means like were kind of like the first like hardcore band you've seen.
Cool.
And I'm like, go home and like figure out more. Like, please. Like, there's definitely that.
I love that.
Mixing it up is fun. And then like opening a show, like when we did the Touche tour, we did a Comeback Kid tour.
Comeback Kid's awesome.
Comeback Kid, and
that was so cool. No warning.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so we did
Canada, right?
Yeah, no, we did. It was West Coast.
Okay.
And then Touche was through some of the East Coast in Canada and Midwest and stuff.
But Comeback Kid and No Warning are both Canada bands.
Oh yeah. And then so like we did those right before we did that. Like we were home for 2 weeks after the Touche tour before we did some dates with Young Gov, which is like way, a whole other different thing. And then we hopped on 2 weeks later. That's when the Limp Bizkit tour started. 5 days after that ended, the Destroy Boys tour started. So we drove from Baltimore there. So we've been touring nonstop with hardcore bands, not hardcore bands.
Everybody.
I love
and
it, man.
we opened a lot of those. We were like first to four on a lot of those. And my goal every night was like, if I could get people's heads moving and like if they're moshing by the end of the set, because you're the opener, I don't always expect people to go ape shit the moment you start playing. You gotta, you're stepping out there
just get them
to
excited.
warm up the
Warm 'em
crowd.
up, yeah.
And so like if we're doing that and people are enjoying it and like we get some movement out there, we've accomplished what we are meant to do as like an opener.
Exactly.
And I don't mind doing that. Like opening a show to me is like, it's like kind of like, all right, like we're going out there and everyone's just walking in. They might have their like, be holding a beer, like, they might be just getting here from work. Yeah. Whatever their day is, we are there to be like, let's go. And if we could get them moving by the end of the set and like they're really going off by the end of the set, like, all right, we did what we were meant to do.
100%.
And that's why a lot of bands will be like, oh, we're going to bring an opener and they're going to, set it off. And that's what we want to do. And so to me, I've heard bands be like bummed they're opening. And I'm like, dude, don't be, because that's a good slot to be like, yo, if you know by the end of the set that people are stoked and they're like, that was awesome. The whole show is going to be good. Everyone's going to have a good night. Every band set's going to pop off. They're not going to think of you in a bad
way.
Yeah, it's not. And they're going to be like, yo, that kicked ass. And that's us, because when you come back the next time, maybe you're not opening. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. Whatever you're at, wherever you're at. But bands should not be afraid to do that. And they should not. It can be nerve-wracking because you're like, oh, dude, I hope people are there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you play a show where the promoter kind of dicks you with like, there's 30 minutes from doors to this. And you're like, dude, like, come on.
I had to play at doors once. It was horrible, man.
Yeah. Playing at doors is so challenging.
What is it? What does this all mean?
Like, if the doors were at 7, you might play at 7:15 or 7:30 or
people
7.
are still getting, they're still checking tickets.
Okay, yeah, we've got to do that in comedy.
Things like that.
The video saw of us were dressed like the Baseball Furies. We opened up for Misfits in '97 at the Palladium out here. And the ticket said something different, and Epitaph was there. All of our friends were there, and we played like at doors, and there was people just walking. It was like nobody. They were all dressed up. It was a Halloween show.
Oh, wow.
So bummed.
So frustrating.
I've seen that happen.
God.
I've had that happen. I've had venues send us the wrong advances.
Yeah,
and it is what it is. But
I mean, there's a lot of humility that, or like there's a lot of like ego, that you really have to just let go of to perform to begin with, but let alone also like figuring out all the like the backsides of it and like opening and dealing with like advancing and like basically just industry crap. Like, to be honest, like you just have to let your ego go and just you have to like take it and just
it's true.
It's literally like the same thing in comedy.
Yeah,
Dealing like
being a performer.
Yeah, being a performer in general, just dealing with that, where you just gotta like, I gotta drop the ego, right? Because you still have a show to play, and you still have a performance to do.
You have to like, I always tell myself, I'm like, okay, I have to be grateful. I have to be grateful for where I'm at. Like, I never want to feel like I'm not being humble. Like that's my biggest fear.
Yeah,
but there's moments for sure. Like everyone has their days where you're just like, fuck this, fuck that, like what the, like, you know. And I think that's human, but yeah, being a performer really just like tests your ego so much.
You guys have an
And-
agent now and stuff.
We have to.
Yeah, we have like booking agent.
That's cool.
I couldn't do it. I did it all by
it's too
myself.
much
Sure,
work.
man. Yeah.
It's when I started getting like contracts for
Yeah.
tours sent to us, and I didn't understand the language
Because
in
we
it.
come from DIY, where
Totally.
like
It's a
everything's like,
handshake.
yeah, it's like a handshake. Does that work, dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
But
mean the
now
Limp
it's
Bizkit
like-
show's not in the basement?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
They were like, a show got canceled. It was funny. A show got canceled, and
Want some more water? Yeah.
I was like, yo, like, show got canceled. I was bummed. It was in South Florida. We had a bunch of our friends from that scene come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess the show's
Yeah, that
canceled.
made
I
me
go,
sad.
do you know a place that we could do like a pop-up show?
Yeah, we did.
So I just started calling people,
I love that.
and then we ended up finding a venue, and they're like, yo, this is good. I go, okay, we start at 12 a.m. Like on the
Yeah.
dot, we will have a full lineup, and we did. So 2 locals came out. It was a free show.
So
I just
sad.
said, can we set up merch? And they're like, yeah, well, you can set up merch. There's drink tickets, and like we can just have the show. And a couple hundred people showed up. It was
So
popping. It
cool,
was
man.
fun.
it was so cool that we got that to happen.
Yeah,
in a
it's
place
beautiful.
we've never
The
played
show started at
before.
12 a.m.
12 a.m.
Yeah.
People came
We
out.
played at, like,
People were having fun. We were like, the show was canceled. So like we had to figure something out, and we did. And
I love that.
this band Wargasm from the UK, who was on the tour, they came out and played too. They're like, all right, we're down. I was like, yeah, just use all our gear. So they were like,
Wow.
what
So
the hell?
cool.
Like, and they're like, this just came out of out of nowhere. And then the local bands playing were awesome, and all the scenes, like South Florida has a really cool scene, like in
Yeah.
Miami and stuff.
Yeah.
So our friends came out, and we had a show, because I was like, no, we set up, we sound checked, we were ready to go. The show gets canceled, like we're gonna play. And so we did it, just DIY hardcore. Like that's how it does, and sometimes that's how things happen, you know.
That's
Yeah.
the beautiful thing about hardcore and punk that's so different than
then
any
it
other
teach- it
genre,
teaches
man.
you,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that was fun, and I think everyone should do that. I think everyone should, if the show gets canceled, if you really want to play, make it happen.
Yep.
And like that is the whole like heartbeat of the scene, where it's like half the time you're not playing in venues that are like
True.
venues. It's like someone's bringing a PA that they bought because they love it, and they're probably booking the show, and they're not
don't
seeing
have
any money
monitors.
off.
No
like,
monitors in the bowling
no
alley.
monitors. Yeah, whatever it is,
Exactly.
and that is what everyone's like. It's what we grow up on. There's so many people who have been booking for decades now, who still book.
Yeah.
Who still book, like Joe Hardcore. That guy's
Best.
been booking for
Dude.
Best, dude,
decades. Chris
legit.
Powerhouse up in the Bay,
Chris
booking for
Powerhouse,
decades.
bro.
Like,
Yes.
like they've been doing it for so long, and they've been doing it in that same way, where it's like, they work with venues,
Yeah.
but if they're like, hey, I found this like Vets Hall, and we're gonna bring a PA, they're gonna do that too.
Totally.
And that is the mindset that a lot of people outside of hardcore and punk, or like, they don't understand that, because they've
Yeah.
never had to like do that. I mean, my homie Gonzo, he's booked shows
Oh, Gonzo.
for
Yeah.
decades in the SGV and stuff. And
Gonzo Productions.
yeah, and he's been doing stuff like that since the 90s.
Yeah,
Like
man.
it's like, okay, we got this. Like you just show up at some art space or a coffee shop, and then all of a sudden there's like over 100 kids there, and they're going crazy. And if the venue's with it, they're so stoked. Sometimes you never get to play that spot ever again, and
Yeah.
no one does, because they're like, that was too much,
Yeah.
But how often has that happened, where you're like, that show was really cool, and they're like, oh, did anyone ever play that again? You're like, absolutely not. Someone like the guy who owned it like almost had a heart attack.
That's what
You know
that's
I
what
mean?
that's
Like-
what I love
Yeah.
about program. Skate
Yeah,
shop.
program's
Oh, program's
Is that, like,
awesome.
Shout out
You
to
can-
Efron.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Efron and all that stuff.
It's dope.
It's just dope, because it's like, it could be a wild show, it could be like a
Yeah.
chill show,
Mhm.
like, but they let whatever happens happen.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about
Program
Program.
rocks.
So
love
good.
program. I
Yeah.
did my first show at program
Yes.
Wow.
with my band.
That's so cool.
Not
That's
stand up.
Yeah.
Which band are you in?
Huh?
Which band are you in?
Well, no one knows us.
They played 3 shows.
We've
They're
only
awesome.
played 3 shows.
Well, I want to know 'em.
Oh, we're called Mad Peaceful.
Cool.
That's
I'm gonna
cool.
check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remind me of Black Flag meets Agnostic Front.
Sick. Yeah,
I
that's
love
like
that.
2 of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
See,
go.
I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
why I was like, which band I want to know, 'cause I want to listen to it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Chappelle's got Rollins vibes.
Yeah,
That's
that's what
awesome.
they
I
say.
love
that's-
that.
That's his favorite dude.
It's like Rollins meets Ice Cube.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh.
You know,
he has,
I was-
he did stand up too.
I was talking.
Rollins did,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He sure did. I was like doing the same thing where I was like trying to like explain like some sort of comparison thing of myself yesterday, and I was like, I think I want to be like Lemmy and Debbie Harry together. Or like
Lemmy
John
Harry.
Brannon and Debbie Harry.
Your approach, wow.
Like that's like angry, but like the boots. I don't know.
yeah.
I just
Something
want to
like that.
not suck.
Angry,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
angry but sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
Lemmy Harry.
Yeah.
Lemmy
yeah.
Harry.
Harry Lemmy.
Is there a band you guys love to tour with? Like a dream? Besides Gorilla Biscuits, I'm sure.
Like a
like a
dream
band you
come
guys-
true
yeah, I'd
kind
love
of
to go on
band.
tour with, yeah.
Like My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
They're playing out here in October. I'm stoked.
I know.
That's cool because they're like,
That's a really important band to me. So that's like I don't think I would be
For
in a
AFI,
band.
it'd be cool.
Yeah. I like fuck, like I mean even like Turnstile, like that would be like such a dream come true. You know, like those are
Sick.
bands I really, really like. And
Yeah.
then like some like Paramore, like things like
Yes.
that. Like things like
We're going to
I
go see him at
really-
that festival in Vegas.
When we were young.
Yeah, we're going to go out there.
I want.
Are you in
Might
town for
go.
that?
No, I don't
October
think so. I think I'm on
23rd?
tour. I'm on
We're on
tour. So
tour.
that's the thing.
But they're
I'm
doing
Shout out
missing
to Haley.
everything.
What?
They're
They're
doing
doing
some
2
dates.
weekends.
That's true.
They're doing the 2 weekends, but they also have tour dates.
Paramore's dope as fuck.
They're
man.
so
Oh.
cool. But yeah, there's like so many bands like I would dream of, but I feel stupid even saying it.
She has like a
'cause I'm,
hilly vibe.
Yeah.
You have a hilly vibe, man.
a hilly vibe.
Yeah.
Haley.
Like I'm from Haley.
Haley
I was,
vibe.
sorry,
Haley
I was like
I
Haley,
talk
like
crazy.
I'm from the hills.
No, Haley
Um,
vibe, yeah.
She's so cool. They're just like all those bands are so cool, and those are the bands that like really like without like My Chemical Romance, Paramore,
Yeah.
like even like fuck like I don't know, like Bikini Kill, Story So Far, random like pop
Story So
punk,
Far.
punk. I
Story
love
So
Story
Far.
Like, you like No Pressure?
Yo.
Yeah, No
Yo.
Pressure
They're playing
rocks.
Saturday.
I know.
You got me into them. They're
We
fucking
played a
listen.
show with them at program, like
Ooh,
back
dang.
in August,
Hey,
October.
I fuck with them hard
How
because of
much?
him.
So
How much
cool.
do I love them?
He loves
I love
them.
No Pressure
yeah,
and Story So Far like
bands
a lot.
like that. Like I wouldn't be in a band
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
didn't have gotten
Yeah.
if I didn't get into those bands. Like if I didn't get into Gorilla Biscuits, Bikini Kill, My Chemical Romance, like Paramore, like all like that.
So diverse,
whole,
too. I like
yeah,
it.
So diverse.
Yeah, I don't know. Minor Threat, huge band,
let's
huge band
go.
for me. Like,
Were you ever
literally
straight edge at
changed-
all?
No, I definitely have had like times where I've just stayed like
Yeah.
I try to like keep my relationship very peaceful with with substances and things
Yeah.
like that. Malachi was straight edge at one point.
Oh, you
Yeah,
were?
he's telling us
So-
yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Yesterday.
He's telling us last night.
You had the
He told
jersey.
I
love
had a
that.
beer in my hand. I was like,
Yeah.
I used to be straight
I
edge.
know.
Yeah.
I know. It was so funny. He
I
had a
was
beer.
like,
I was like, I
it's
know
all
you used to
good.
be.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely used to be.
And the Revolver magazine. That's sick.
Yeah. Dude.
And Magdalena
so
says
crazy.
hi.
I love her so
I ran into her
much.
the other day. I saw her going to be in the pod. She goes, "Oh my God, it's such a small world."
She's so cool.
yeah. Revolver. That's sick. That's
That
awesome.
was honestly like I was like, no way.
It's kind of crazy,
Revolver?
right?
Like that's nuts. I mean personally, like I always just kind of trip out because I try not to get too sentimental because I'm a sensitive, sentimental person. But like growing up where I grew up, like I kind of had a rough time as a kid, and like I didn't graduate high school. And
Oh,
things like-
really?
no, I dropped out. Like I did not have
Shouts
a good
out.
time.
Wow.
I was like struggling. I just
You hated school.
wasn't doing well. Like
Your
mentally.
parents trip on you quitting school.
Yeah, kind of. It was kind of one of those things where it was like I didn't really have it. It was a fight for so long, like me and school. Like I just didn't do well in school, and I had a really rough time. And I wanted to do well, but I wasn't trying for the longest time. And I just was like, I just want to drop out. I just want to quit. I just want to throw my hands up
Yeah.
and quit. I don't want to do it.
Did you get your GED?
Yes. Like
Cool.
within a year of dropping out. So that was like cool. But looking back on that, I just did not expect much from myself.
Mhm.
And I think I'm allowed to say I'm a little proud of myself right now. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
like, yeah,
should
we did
be.
it. Like,
No, you
okay,
should
be.
we're doing this.
Definitely,
Like, I'm
for
like
sure.
committing to something I
Yeah.
really love, and I think like looking at like doing like a Revolver cover, like that's so crazy.
crazy.
Like I'm like really, really happy. I'm proud of the like everyone who's like put in the work in the band. Like everyone's kind of come from a different challenging background.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we want to kill each other sometimes, but like we've really, really worked hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like it's almost another persona of you when you go on stage and
Yeah.
you watch videos, you performing the way you sing.
Yeah.
As just talking to you now, you're just so chill. And I know you're sensitive. You're probably like your worst critic of everything you do.
Yeah.
And you're harsh on yourself.
I think that's just every.
But then just go out there and
artist.
just fucking.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
cool. It's
I
just like,
try.
it's probably very therapeutic.
Yes, totally. I mean,
It's when you feel like
I get in my head. Like, there's some shows, I'm sure you relate, maybe, like, there's some shows you get off stage and you're like, wow, I blacked out that whole time. Like, that was
Totally.
crazy. And then sometimes the whole set, you're like, I look stupid right now. What am I doing? Like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, I'm stupid. Like,
Isn't that crazy?
I just get in my head sometimes. I'm
I
just like,
know.
damn, I suck. Why am I
Is there
doing
some-
this?
Musicians
is
are
there
so fucked.
sometimes,
They're all
like-
fucked in the head. It's
Is there sometimes
crazy.
where you can tell, like the crowd?
Sometimes
one
they're
of
just
those
not
crowds.
feeling it. Sometimes like they don't know what to do with
I
you.
know.
You know,
Because with
like,
comedy, I can walk into a room and I go, "Here it goes."
yeah, like okay, we're gonna get through it.
You can read the room.
When they don't laugh, it's like,
Oh,
You can read the room when you walk in.
yeah.
We can read the room probably by a set list or an
Yeah.
old song versus a new song or the
Yeah.
crowd energy. Or then you want to flip the set or change a
Yeah.
song because you want a faster song or I don't know.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen you quite a few times now. Is there a time where you felt like, "Here it goes"?
If I'm playing something off an older record and I see like that Jersey show, it was a very old school crowd.
Yeah.
They start playing more older, so you flip it like that, you know? You
Yeah.
see the energy.
Yeah,
they want the
definitely have
breakdowns.
to-
They want, like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you could
Like,
tell by their energy that yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I was actually
Yeah.
talking with someone about this where it's like some shows it's just the crowd is a specific way. Like even in Europe, for example, I was figuring out like
Yeah.
one night in Europe, I like turned around and I was like talking in between songs and I was like, how can I get these people excited? And I go, are you guys fucking crazy? And they're like, yeah, like they loved that. They loved it. And I was like, okay. And then the next night I was like, okay, I'm going to try it again. I ask it and everyone's like, like, and I was like, fuck. Like,
Damn.
and I was like, okay. Like it, I just feel like I feel like a scientist, like trying to figure out like fit puzzle pieces together. Like,
yeah.
does this get people excited? Does this work? Like, how am I gonna like?
Yeah, it's like, do you want me to fucking juggle or
Yeah,
something?
like what do I do? And like sometimes I do really feel like, okay, they're oogling. Like this is the we're gonna play the set and people might appreciate it, but like they're not trying to like go crazy. They're just like
Yeah.
watching and respect. But sometimes, man, like being a hardcore band and like the only way you feel like you're doing good is if people aren't fucking losing their minds.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
know.
hard. And
It
then
is
you see
hard.
like indie bands and they're like, that was such a cool set, and everyone's like
Everybody's
standing
just
there.
chilling
Yeah.
in the crowd.
And I'm like, What
the fuck? Yeah.
the fuck?
It's because like in comedy, like there's times where, there'll be someone right
Yeah.
up front that just was not laughing the whole time,
Oh,
but they'll come right up to me and be like,
That was
"Yo, that was amazing," and I'm like,
that
"Does that happen in
blows
like
my mind.
music?"
I mean, sometimes there's gonna be shows where you play and like nobody's really moshing, but everyone is bobbing their heads. They're like, yeah,
Right. You got moving.
and like they're just
Yeah.
like, I don't know why, like they didn't feel like moshing. And then after the set, you sell all this merch. Everyone tells you how great it was, and you're just like,
Yeah.
if it was so great, like why didn't anyone
did you give me
move?
the
Like
energy?
where's
Yeah.
the moshing?
It's just
But
different vibes. I
Yeah.
guess,
it's just
different cities.
and like some scenes are like really stiff.
Mm.
Like they I don't know why.
You have a favorite
know.
place to play?
yeah, for sure.
What
I
do you
love
think?
Boston.
Boston for
I
sure.
love New
Boston goes
York.
crazy.
Woo,
I love
yeah.
Baltimore.
Dope.
Always home.
Dallas Fort Worth. They
Oh,
go
Dallas,
crazy
yeah.
for us.
In Dallas?
Yeah, they're like all
Yeah.
good friends.
Dallas
There's a
is
lot of
crazy.
good
We have like a
friends
lot
out
of
there.
friends out there, and
That's
then
cool.
same with like Denver,
Denver's
and
dope.
Denver's
then
great.
yeah, like Denver kind of
Pacific
feels.
North.
Chicago
Chicago's
goes
awesome.
crazy for us.
Yeah,
Thank
just in
God.
general, they have a great scene. Pacific Northwest,
Yeah.
they're awesome. I mean, to be honest, I just like being on the road.
Yeah.
I like all LA. LA is always,
We
you
have
know
a-
what I mean? Everywhere I like being there. It's very rare that I'm like, I don't want to be here right now. And
Yeah.
that
I will
means
say-
something
You
happens.
guys name like literally like in comedy, those are all of like
Those are-
comedians' favorite
Oh, really?
Yeah.
cities.
Yeah. Florida.
Yeah, everything you
Oh,
guys
Florida's
just
awesome.
Crazy.
I love
Yeah.
Florida.
Like
I love
Tampa?
Richmond.
Tampa.
Richmond's
Tampa,
cool.
Richmond is crazy.
You know the Blood Fest is out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ace was
Um,
doing that.
Yeah.
Ace is a cool dude.
I was gonna say that we haven't played like a proper show in like San Jose in a long time, and we did like a surprise like 2-song thing back in what was it, like November,
Mhm.
October last year, and it was insane. And I was like, damn. And we still haven't played in San Jose since then. Like that's the one place like I want to play again so
you can try
bad.
to do that this year, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we get stuck
We're gonna-
with radius clauses.
We just we're
that'll,
dealing
like,
with a lot of like
Okay.
back end stuff
You
and
know what that is? We can't play certain markets if you're playing somewhere else.
yeah.
Say,
You can't play certain markets if you're playing somewhere else. So maybe opening up for a bigger
Within-
band or
so if you're opening for a band, you can't headline.
depends
in
what
that
they
same
say.
city?
Like if you're on the Warped
Within
Tour,
like
you can't play
100
that.
days or
Yeah.
60
Yeah.
days, like things
Oh,
like
got
that.
it.
So like
Unless the show is sold out, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
things like that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
And
Gabe from
it's-
Midtown.
It can be
that.
frustrating. It can totally be frustrating.
Do you guys have any daily rituals?
Oh,
Coffee.
I was gonna ask you.
Coffee's a big one. I mean,
How many
Shower.
coffees a day?
one.
Okay.
If I'm like
Respect.
brewing it at home,
Respect.
I might go for more. Like,
Okay.
but if I'm gonna go out and buy coffee, it's just like gonna be a latte, like espresso, whatever. Just one.
What
But-
about what else? You guys meditate? You guys do yoga?
I mean,
you guys?
I'm big on skincare. I have to. I like to keep my skin nice. Like
Nice. You have nice
every
skin.
day, like I focus on that. Especially if, like as someone who likes to do makeup too.
Yeah.
Like it's hard on your skin. Like skincare, sunscreen, always everyday sunscreen.
Mm.
Like I'm not very good at my routines otherwise. I'm
Okay.
trying. It's just going on tour is like a little bit challenging.
Of course.
On tour, there's no routine.
There's
for
no.
me.
It's hard.
You
man.
have to
It's
really
like,
be
I wish there
strict.
was. I get kind of grumpy because I want to exercise. I want to but I'm stuck in the van.
Yeah.
And then that's hour 5 of the drive is when I
Ooh.
just start being like,
He
now
goes
everyone
insane.
pays.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
now
now
everyone pays.
if I'm suffering, you're all gonna suffer with me.
Yeah.
And like poppets start flying. I start buying
just
stuff from
starts
gas stations
going
and like
off.
shooting Nerf guns. Like I just can't sit
The
still.
jokes that you're not supposed to make about everyone in the van, like you just
Mm.
start making, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's on!" Like,
Yeah. The war zone has
Yeah.
started.
yeah.
I was gonna say, what's the type? What's like an artist that people would be surprised you like? But you pretty much name everything.
I know.
You love.
Yeah, you guys
I
named
You have no
love-
guilty pleasures at all. Like
I
it's just out
mean,
there.
I have.
How about hip hop?
I love hip hop.
Okay, you too.
I love like Wu-Tang Clan, like specifically. Like I really like.
Let's shit the woo,
And
bro.
then, but then I also love like Doja Cat, and like
Mm.
I love Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
And like I love like all the like current stuff right
Okay.
now. Rico Nasty, like she's
Yeah.
this like she's got like a really punk thing going on, and like
Have you heard of her?
I heard the
she's
name. Yeah.
She, like-
she's dope.
she has like a really
She have
cool
tattoos?
flow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she does like a lot of like these really punk makeup looks, which is like I really fuck with that. Like
Okay.
she does this like crazy eyeliner sometimes. She'll like wear like her hair in like Liberty spikes sometimes, or she'll do like mullets and
She
like
does like whatever the fuck she
Dude,
wants,
she's
but it's like
so
she'll go
cool.
Okay.
wherever she wants to go.
She's
yeah.
so fucking cool.
So you listen to current pop music as well?
Yeah, I love pop.
Cause you sit on the way down in the car, you listen to all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like asleep.
I love pop. I love like hyper pop, like Charlie XCX and
Mm.
like that band 100 Gex that like kind of came out a couple years
Never
ago.
heard.
It's like some people just cannot, and I totally respect that because it's like so beyond edgy. Like
Okay.
it's like just so insane, and like some people just they're like this is unlistenable. But
Yeah.
I just like it.
Yeah. And you
So-
Stone Roses fan too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stone Roses.
You're so young, but you have such like a old school. Like you're so open minded to so many.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I used to be really like particular, and I used to kind of like hate on like my few like punk friends. Like I would kind of be a little bit of an elitist. Like in my like late teens, early 20s, I was like, I'm punker. Like, you know, like I
Yeah,
kind of
only
I
punk
had,
rock. That's
yeah,
all I listen to.
I
yeah.
totally
We were
had
like that. I was like that.
and
I never
wouldn't-
did that.
well, because you grew up around punk. Like for
I was
me,
going
it
to
was like
punk since
I
was a
like
kid.
figured it out myself, and I had like so much pride, like claiming that.
I'm punker than you.
Yeah, I was just like, and also like I didn't have a lot of friends around me who were like that into it, so I felt even more pride,
Yeah.
and I learned so much from just like SLC Punk and YouTube and
SLC
like stuff like
Punk.
that. Like that's like one of my favorite movies, but it's like it's
awesome.
funny looking back.
movie,
It's totally like it's kind of cringy, but I love it so much. So
What about you?
I grew up
Anything
in
that
it.
you would listen to, I'd be like, what?
I know one.
One that everyone's surprised. I like that band. Say Anything.
He loves.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say
I like-
anything. Yeah.
But
remember that band.
specifically,
Yeah.
Is a Real Boy. I like
That
that
album.
album
Okay.
a lot. It's like nostalgic for me. My sister used to listen to
Oh,
it,
that's
and like
cool.
I really liked that one. I mean, I love. It's not a secret at all. I love Pat Benatar. I've like gone to
So
see.
cool.
That's like one of my favorite ones.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think of one that people like wouldn't expect. That
Oh God.
I mean,
it's so like.
I listen to.
I mean,
pretty
he
much
loves. He also loves outlaw country. Like he's big
That's
on
cool.
like Waylon.
I need to definitely look more into the history of it, but I listen to a lot of that. I listen to a lot of newer country that's really good.
Yeah.
Like I like Benjamin Todd a lot. He's a really good artist. I like who else? That's like
Oh, we both like Lil Peep a lot.
Oh, little
Like that's not
Oh.
surprising for me, but he actually really likes
I
Lil
think
Peep.
he's really good.
I
thought
love
he was,
Lil Peep.
it's really unfortunate he passed
I
because he
know
was
that
so.
documentary's
heartbreaking.
heavy.
Dude,
Yeah.
We watched that and I was a mess.
Yeah.
I
I
was a
haven't
really
seen
big
it.
fan of his.
Oh, okay. It's
Be
so
prepared.
heavy,
It's
man.
Oh,
so
really?
heartbreaking.
Oh,
It's
it's the one on Hulu, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Um,
My son went. We watched it. Yeah, it's like.
I was a really big fan of his. Like I saw him at this small venue in Sacramento called Harlow's, like
Uh-huh.
in May of like 2017.
Was he like emo hip hop? He's
Yeah.
like on the verge of
Yeah.
that style. Okay.
Well, so he liked emo and pop punk, and
Yeah.
like so he would like sample that stuff, and like he would sample like popular pop punk songs,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
brand new samples. Even like he did like a Pierce the Veil, like that's like a band that I liked when I was a teenager.
Okay.
You know, so I was like, whoa.
That's
And
cool.
a lot of the people he worked with were like doing a lot of guitar in their beats and things like
Mhm.
that. And so it just, I don't know, he just had his own thing going. I really liked it. I was a big fan. And yeah, that's a heartbreaking
That's a
one.
heavy one. That Juice WRLD doc's pretty heavy.
Oh, yeah.
And the Triple X Extension one
Yeah.
that was heavy and dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
people
yeah.
are.
It's sad.
There's a
It's
lot of
heartbreaking.
I
people
know.
who have passed way too early, and it's like
Yeah.
it's really sad because like they're all so talented. You
Yeah.
know, that's a lot of light in the world that just like it's gone, and it's like they're bringing so much creativity and like so much
Yeah.
energy out. You know what I
Totally.
mean? So like, sad to see that for anyone. You know, it's just like it's unfortunate.
It doesn't get
it's-
easier.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
You guys want me to watch these docs?
yeah.
I'd say
I mean,
so.
it's if you're like in the mood to be like, let's get depressed. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah.
He literally,
You learn a lot. You see a lot of really cool things. You like see
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
they did things. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of those dudes that were coming up in that scene like started out very DIY. They were
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
like
sure.
house shows
Totally.
in like the living room, and they're recording their own stuff and shooting their own music videos with no budget. And I was
Mm.
like, that's cool.
It's
like,
punk for
you know,
sure.
people can hate all they want, but people doing that, they're just grinding to do it their way. I respect it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
respect the hell out of
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah.
like if they're real about it, then I respect. I can't, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like the only time I don't like things is when it's like how do I say it's like fake. You know,
Yeah,
it's,
Yeah, when
it's
it
like
lacks authenticity.
it's
Yeah.
like it's either fake or it's like kind of posturing.
Yeah,
like I
you
don't
can
like
tell they're,
that.
like, reaching.
Yeah, and I'm like
There's a
just-
hidden agenda.
Yeah, I'm like that's kind of stupid,
Yeah.
but you know, it's
Yeah.
like, but who the fuck am I to say anything? You know, if they're happy, they're happy. You know, so I can't hate too much.
No, I love that.
It's
I agree with
beautiful.
that.
I'm a
Yeah.
big believer in karma. So like, if I have a feeling about like music specifically, like I mean, we perform and play music, and sometimes not everything's your thing, you know.
Yeah.
But like when something is not my thing, I'm like, I can't talk about it too much. I can't like I just
Yeah.
have to be like, you know what, it's not for me, and that's okay.
I love
And maybe
Yeah.
I could
Yep.
revisit
I fucking
it
love
one
that.
I
day,
wish
but like
everybody
it is
just
what it is.
understood
Because like
that.
I am so freaked out that like I'm gonna put some negativity in the air and it's just gonna bite me. Like I'm so like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's how I broke my ankle. I think I was just being a hater for
Oh
like
no.
a few days straight, and usually I'm not like. And I think I was being a hater, and it bit me in. I think
Just bad karma.
I was in my head being a hater, like I was just being a shithead, and I don't know. I wasn't thinking about planting my ankle right, and that's how I did it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna accept this one. Like I was like, I'm not even. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I put some like kind of anger out there. So like, and you know, it's just like sometimes it just happens. And,
Yeah.
I'll take it. You know, I'll take my
Take the
lumps.
L.
I'm not I'll understand that. I'll
Yeah.
take it. It's like
That's funny.
Do you guys consider yourselves optimists or pessimists?
optimistic. optimist and pessimist. Like sometimes I'm like, I can get down on things where I'm like pissed off and just grumpy, and like, you know, you feel like you're fighting an uphill battle like nonstop, and I've felt that way many times in my life. But at the same time, I'll get like that for like an hour, and then I'm trying to look at it like the glass is half full. You know, I saw it half empty, and then I try to reverse it to just keep going. Because like if you're just always negative, like no one wants to be around that.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, why are you so negative? Like I'm the type, if someone gets my food order wrong, I'll go, oh, bummer, and then I'll eat it because I don't really care. Wow. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at things, where it's like I'm just gonna roll with the punches however they come. So I believe it could go either way. I've definitely been kind of a grumpy person, and I've been not a grumpy person. I think it's important to have a balance.
For sure.
You go through life like it's rainbows and butterflies, and you're like, look at how the world, we could go all into that, but it's like, totally. Look at how unfair the world is to so many people, to people, you know, working class people, to femme people, to people of color. Like there's so many things going on in the world that if you're not aware of those, you're kind of a dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of like, the world is so great. I got my latte and this, and we're just going to walk down the street. And it's going to be fantastic. It's someone's getting beat up by the cops over here. Someone's ODing over here. And you're like, the world's great. It's like, no, you got to be aware of those. And then you have to be positive, but you have to work to fix those things, because we're all like, I sound corny when it's like we're all in this together, but in reality, if you step into that world, like if you step into that room, we're all here for the same thing. So in the music scene, I believe that's why everyone's pretty vocal about like social issues, because, you know, we are all in this together, and we all care about each other. There's a lot of people that like, you go to a show, you've known them for 10 plus years. You know, these are people that like, if you need help moving, they're there. But if I look at one of my friends and they're struggling with something that I might not necessarily struggle with, based off of a privilege of something I have, like being like a cis dude, you know what I mean? I gotta recognize that and be their friend. And I can't speak on these issues because in a lot of ways, because I'm not as educated as a lot of people, and it's not my place, but I got their back through it. You know what I mean? Whatever they need, I'm there. So that's how it should. And if they're like, yo, we need to speak out about this, here's why, and this, and they want me to, then I will. And if they don't want me to, and they just want me to be like part of the, like, yo, we need to protest about this, all right, I'm there. You know, like too, whatever you need, I'm there for you, and vice versa. You know, those are the same people. If I'm like, yo, like I can't do shit right now, I'm sick, I can't do this, those are the same people that are going to be there for you.
I love that, man.
You know, so it is a community, and I think a lot of people need to like see that, and not in like a way or like constantly trying to shit on each other, because people do that. And it's been like that, you know, people over petty shit, but it's like, if you're a part of this, like have everyone's back who's struggling. It doesn't mean that they're all exactly your struggles, but they are your struggles if you have their back in a way where it's like, you might not know, you might not understand exactly how, you couldn't even comprehend, because there's so many things that go into it. It's like intersectional problems. Like there's so much going into this, but if you're just there and you do your best and you're there to help them out, that's what I think is important. And what hardcore taught me. If I never got into hardcore and listened to the music and listened to the people who were around it, I wouldn't know so many things today, because I grew up in a way where like that stuff, no one had the time to talk about it. Everyone was struggling. Everyone was trying to make rent. I have 4 little brothers. I have an older sister. I have a big family, single mom. Like, you know, like we struggled. And so a lot of these things socially I had no idea about, because I just didn't experience them in certain ways. That's things that I learned as I got into hardcore, because people took the time to talk to me and tell me about stuff.
It's fucking amazing, man. You just dropped so much knowledge, bro, and fucking dude. Awesome.
Very
It's
rarely
beautiful,
do I get there, but yeah, that's how I feel. It's
No,
like,
I love that, man.
Just the same guy that throw a firecracker in your damn van.
Yeah, to be honest.
But you see, this kid just got really.
Yeah.
I felt everything you said, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking. I agree, man. It's beautiful.
I will
man.
for sure throw firecrackers in the van.
No,
And
you
then
an
I
optimist.
love it.
I think I'm an optimist, but I think Malachi might say differently.
She will for sure complain
think
about the food.
I think
No.
the thing is, I personally don't think complaining is a bad thing.
Okay.
I don't try to complain a lot.
Okay.
He also just hears everything that I like, my constant stream of consciousness, and yeah. So, but I'm like the first person to be like, it's gonna be okay. If
Yeah.
something's going wrong, I'm gonna be the first person to be like, yeah, this sucks. And like you have to agree with this, right? Like every time
Come on,
something
Malachi.
goes
Yeah, come on,
wrong
you can-
with the band or the van, like something is
Who's
getting
the
in the way.
voice of reason in the
I'm
band?
always the one
Depends.
that's like, damn, this fucking sucks. But here's how we can fix it. And at worst comes to worst, this is our worst outcome. We're still gonna be okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Like I
Yeah.
always say
Well,
that.
yeah, you're not you'll complain about the food to me, but you won't send it back because
What?
you're not like a Karen. You know what
No,
I mean?
no,
Like,
but I'm also
you'll
really
roll
big.
with the punches.
I'm a really big like communication kind of person. Like
Okay.
if I get the wrong order somewhere or like that's just
You
an
want to say
example,
something.
I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh hey, I'm so sorry. Like I ordered oat milk. Can I get oat milk? Like sorry, or ordered an iced drink, not a hot one. Like
Yeah.
like if I will like be aware of the situation. If,
Yeah.
if like I'm at a coffee shop and they gave me the wrong drink, like a hot drink instead of a cold, but they have like a super long line and everyone's slammed, I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn around and be like, today's a hot drink day.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
okay. I don't mind hot drinks.
You pick and choose your
yeah,
battles.
yeah, totally. And like maybe I'll be like, I'll tell him in the van. I'll be like, oh damn, I meant to get an iced drink. Like I don't think they heard me. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I think he grew up with some different circumstances than I did. So
Yeah.
sometimes he'll be like, damn, you're so negative. And I'm like, no, like, it's okay. Like, there's it's not like the end of the world.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you because I like to talk.
I don't mind. I'm here for it. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
there's definitely. I don't think anyone in the band is necessarily like a pessimist.
We all have days, though,
Of
for
course,
sure.
we're
Like, I mean,
humans. We have emotion. We're not perfect.
And
Sure,
in the
man.
van, like on tour, like that's the time when you're just seeing the rainbow of it all, like the
Yeah.
worst and the best. So like some days it's like, oh shit, they're on one, they're having a
Totally.
rough day. Everything that happens to them is
Happening.
they're going through it, and that's when I'm like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Like, if I have the bandwidth, if I'm having a
Yeah.
day too, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, love you, I gotta get away from you.
Yeah. Just give me some space.
yeah.
Well, someone's bummed in the van. Everyone could kind of feel it.
Totally.
Oh,
It brings
yeah.
the
and
cloud.
if they're bummed, I give them like a certain allotted amount of time before like the Skittles start flying at your forehead.
See, he has a hard time with it. For me, it's like if
Mm.
someone's not doing well, I'm like,
You let them
hey, are
sit.
you okay?
Oh,
Like, and if they're like, I'm okay, or I'm not
Yeah.
really doing well, I go, do you want to talk about it? And if they're like,
See, I love
no,
that.
if they're like, no, I'm like, okay, well, just, I care about you, I love you, like, let me know if you need anything.
I do it to you all the time.
Boom.
Dude.
And
all
then,
the time.
was you saying I'm mad all the time?
No, but if you're feeling like emo someday,
Yeah.
I give you space. And I say, I love you. I'm here if you need you. I always do that to you. You know, it's
Yeah.
facts.
well, because
Is
that
that
goes a
facts?
long way.
You calling me emo?
Yes. Yeah, I am calling emo.
What?
Anyway.
No, just kidding.
I know I do that for him. I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
But
no,
that,
he does.
at the end of the day, like, that's all you can do. Like, you can't make someone talk about something
Yeah.
if they don't want to. Or if, you know, some people, they want their moment. They want you to worry about them, but they want to be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. And I don't think that's wrong. Like, I
Nah.
get it. It can
Yeah.
be like, as a friend, sometimes it's like, come on, you know, but
Yeah.
but people have to deal with shit their own way and the way that they know best for
I agree.
themselves. Like, and you know, like, I don't know. Like, he'll pry more because he really wants to solve the problem.
I can
I-
see that.
But yeah,
I just
he's,
don't like. I like getting it fixed and moving on.
Yeah.
like,
I like
there's no
that.
there's no
Resolving shit.
stopping.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna get through this. Oh, you're having girl troubles, bud? Like, you're having girl troubles, bud? All right, that's cool. Get over it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Dude, I
I
love
am
you,
a little
man.
bit more sensitive where I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, let me know if you need anything. Like,
Yeah.
and then I'll put in like my earbuds or whatever, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, well, that's not my problem necessarily. Like they're gonna figure it out and they're gonna let me know if they need my help.
Yes.
Turn the cranberries up. It's chill.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes like I
turn
get
blood
emo
for blood
in the
on.
van. Yeah, sometimes I'm like,
Blood
Blood
for
for
blood.
blood.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you're pissed.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
get fucking hyped. Let's be
Yeah,
pissed
right.
together, dude. Let's go.
like, I mean, we're just, we're living, we're functioning.
Yeah.
You gotta. Every day's a different thing, and some days you just like wake up and you're like, today's off. I had a
Yeah.
day like that the other day
Yeah.
where like every single thing that happened that was like mildly inconveniencing, like I was like, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely I got the lump in my throat. I'm bummed. Today sucks. How can I go home and make this better? Like, and I
Totally.
kind of like drag my feet into it. I'm like, I know I need to do something that makes me happier, but I kind of want to wallow.
Well,
Yeah, like,
have
but-
my day.
mm-hmm.
Do you guys spend a lot of time on social media?
I have to limit it because it drives me insane.
People
Like
are.
you run your own accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are like,
I hate it.
I help.
Who runs your
them
band account? You
He
guys
does.
run. Okay.
and
Yeah.
most of it.
I'm on it, but
Yeah.
he does everything.
I'm like,
I don't.
you
wanna
can
do
tell
it.
when I make a post though because my grammar
There's-
is terrible. And,
It's
my
like
spelling's
definitely misspelled. Like
I fucking do.
He,
man.
like,
This
really-
guy.
I just talk how I talk. You know what I
amazing.
mean?
yeah,
He's like, fuck it, that's what it is. Just
Yeah.
like it.
Someone will correct it.
yeah.
and I'll
Sometimes
be
we'll
like,
text
oh,
the
fuck
group chat
you.
like,
it's like
it's
someone's
a
like,
different there, Malachi.
And I'm like, I know.
I feel like if I didn't have a band or a podcast or something, I wouldn't be on there anymore. It's too draining, man. It's a
It's-
mental mind fuck.
I mean,
man, a
the
lot of
worst.
time.
I will say, like, it used to be way more fun for me.
Yeah.
And then I started the band, and it feels a lot more like a job. And the parts of social media that I've realized that like really bum me out, I've just been like, well, I have control over this, so I'm going to cut that out.
Yeah.
And I've definitely gone through phases where I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do this for a month.
And
And
you
I
did it?
feel amazing.
heard
And all of a
it's
sudden
amazing.
I'm reading all these books. I'm doing all this
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like taking more time for myself,
For
and I'm
yourself.
way happier. And I'm like, damn, wonder what was bumming me out.
Do you let like one negative comment out of 1,000 great ones bum you
Oh,
out?
totally.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. I try really hard not to. And there's definitely that like, we get that like curiosity where we're like, like I want to see what people are talking about. And then you're like, why did I do
Or what the
that?
person
It's so-
looks
it's
like,
so
or what his
draining,
account
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like,
Like,
Who's saying what about me right now?
I'm sure.
Hey,
bro.
Oh, bro,
I'm sure.
I'll give you my address. Show up.
Exactly.
Oh,
I love the people that
I
talk
did.
shit
I
and
showed
then they
up.
still,
Oh, you
but
did?
They didn't
follow
give me
you.
their address. I
Right?
just saw
And
them.
they don't
I mean-
talk to you.
Let's be real. I did not expect when I started a band to experience someone talking shit about me and my band online and then seeing them in their town and watching them sing along in mosh. That was, I like literally was like, what the
What?
fuck?
You saw them in real life at
Yeah.
the show,
And they were
along.
singing and moshing. Like I didn't, like, and I was like, oh, it all fell into place. And I was like, okay, I literally can't take it personal ever again. Like these people are genuinely
love
just
that.
insecure or jealous or whatever. Like
So
it's
true.
not about me. I always knew that, but it didn't always like
their
sink
problem,
in.
not your problem.
Yeah,
Wow.
And
it's
they'll
like,
they'll never say it to your
No.
face.
yeah,
It's crazy how they comment and they still follow you. It's
Dude,
so wild, man.
that is crazy.
I kind of think it's funny when like
I can see
It's
him, like, having fun
hilarious.
with
when
it.
it's like
oh,
when I like meet them in person. I'll be like, "Did you say this?" And they're like, and it's not even like something about someone will just like talk shit, like, "Oh, I'll beat your ass for something," and it's like, for what? Because
For what? Yeah.
Yeah, because I said I something. You know what I mean? Like someone will say something like that, or they'll just like go out of their way to say like a a remark about a friend or something, and I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's stupid. Don't do that." And they're like, "What are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Did you say this?" And they're like,
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, should be, if you don't, in my mind, if you're not gonna go and tell someone to their face,
Dude,
why do you say it online?
facts.
And also, why do you say it behind like a account with like a
Yeah.
username like buttplug420?
With
and
zero
then,
posts, zero everything.
Yeah, and like, or like something like that. It's like, yo, just be, if you're gonna be a dick,
own
do
it.
it.
Own
do
it.
it with your
Literally
face.
own it.
Own it.
Do it with your face. Have your face there. Be willing to hit the DMs. And honestly, I don't care, because like if someone hates on us, they hate on us.
Yeah,
we
I
might.
mean,
they
I
don't
will
have
say-
to like
Hate or
us.
love, they're thinking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I
on
mean,
their mind,
I
dude.
will say, like, I don't really get bummed when people hate on us, like, for the music or, like, things that make sense to hate on. The thing that, like, breaks my heart and, like, shatters my soul is when it's...
Scumbags.
It's like...
Don't tell them.
When
Now they
it's-
know. No, I'm kidding.
Ain't nobody hating
Oh
on
yeah,
this
yeah,
pod.
no.
When it's some personal attack
well,
on
when
the way
it's
you
like,
look or something.
when
or
it has
fucking
nothing to do with the band and it has everything to do with like my gender or my sexuality, like that shit like really bums me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And it's like that would bum anyone out, but it's like it's
1000%.
even
It's
harder
when
when
it's hard to be positive. These negative.
Listen,
facts out
I've
there.
gotten to
Haters.
this point,
Yeah.
like, you know, as I continue to grow with my shit, I
This
feel
guy's
like
blown up. He's being humble.
whatever.
ahead.
But I've gotten to this point to where I'm like, you know what? I'm exhausted. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna be the best person that I can be.
It makes you want to be better. Go harder.
Because literally,
Exactly.
when you see all the stuff that's like said about you or whatever, and like these people have these perception of
Crazy,
perspectives of
Yeah.
who you are, and it's like, well, I was just like, you know what? I know who I am, and that's all
That's
that
all
really
matters,
fucking
man.
matters. And I know my intentions.
Yeah.
And if you misunderstand my intentions with anything,
Kinda
then
on
that's
you.
your own. That's
That's
your own
literally
fucking
on
fault.
them.
You got to deal with that battle.
That's
I'm not
about
gonna.
them.
Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
you. I'm not gonna deal with that
The
battle.
only opinions I
I'm
listen to is
fine.
my wife and my sons. Well, most of
Yeah.
my wife's.
And mine.
Yours
Yeah, because
too.
I told you he was fat and you went on a juice cleanse.
That's crazy.
But I said it to his face and not online.
This dude in Philly told me 2 weeks ago. He like touched my chest. He goes, "You're kind of soft." I just finished 17 days of no food. I lost 13 pounds because he fucking made me crazy, man. I'm barely eating right now.
Hey,
This guy,
I didn't make
Wow.
him
I'm in the
crazy.
best shape of my
his
life.
brain made him
Bullying
crazy.
him.
works.
Yeah.
fucking scumbag. But at least you said it to my face.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
just
mean,
saying. The
that-
people, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I could create a burner account and go to your page.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Toby, I
crazy.
saw you in Philly standing outside a restaurant. You
People I will say people in Europe, that's their MO. They're just gonna tell you straight up.
I love that.
They're
but it's like
So
yeah.
you just witnessed that, the first honesty
Yeah.
straight to your
Well,
face.
so I actually, my mom is extremely German. My
Okay,
mom grew up
awesome.
in Germany. She moved to America in the late 80s. My dad's American. So I grew up in California, right? But
Yeah.
my mom, she's totally got what we call EPD, which is European Personality Disorder.
Okay.
And she's just so like,
That's the thing.
it's this honesty that like in America, they think it's rude.
So blunt.
so blunt.
So
blunt.
But growing up around it, like I'm kind of used to it. Like,
Okay.
doesn't bother me. In fact, he will hate on me for it because we'll be in the van and someone will ask a question and I'll just answer like, well, I don't really like that because I think it's this way. Or I don't, basically kind of like, I don't like that. I'll just be straight up. I don't sugarcoat it. And he's like, dude, what the hell? And I'm like, what? It's like, damn. And I'm like, I just don't like it. I'm giving you an honest answer.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling with that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and
Why's your new album suck? Last record was great.
dude, that's crazy.
Straight to your face in
In
interview.
Europe.
Straight up, man. Your
Yeah.
last record was trash. This record's great. What happened? How
I'd
did
be
that
like, bitch,
happen?
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
You sounded okay. Something was off tonight. Like, what?
Yeah, they'll be like,
But
last time I saw you better.
Yeah.
Give me all your shirts though. Like buys
Yeah.
all your merch.
Yeah.
Um,
It's fucking
but
crazy.
yeah.
So you experienced that down in real life in Europe?
Yeah, we did, I think.
Yeah.
I was honestly expecting it to be worse because like I'm a girl and like
Yeah.
I honestly avoid selling merch at this point because
You can't have
I-
it anymore
it's-
because
I
people
can't
got
do merch.
too weird a couple times.
I just get like
Oh, you out there selling the merch after?
yeah.
I can't do
respect,
it.
I mean-
I can't be at the merch table anymore because
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry,
like I
was
used to
also
run
a bit-
merch
Of course.
a lot.
That's how we do it. You sing the
right?
set, then you're on the...
You run to the freaking merch table.
Yeah.
But I was getting cornered and I was getting weird things said to me and it was like
Dude.
I can't do it anymore. So I didn't do merch in Europe. I don't do it in America anymore. I don't do it at all. But
I get it.
it was crazy like walking around at fests even in Europe. Like random dudes would just like be so forward trying to hit on me and I was like, ugh, like nope. And I would just be like, no, okay, bye. Like
Yeah.
like just so blunt and just walk away. But besides that in Europe, like we did pretty all right. Like we
Yeah.
didn't
Bro,
get
I'll
like
roll with y'all. What's
Right,
up?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
in America though, like
Let's
yeah,
get it.
people say weird things though. I think
Yeah.
people forget that like you're like a person when they see you on
Yes.
stage.
Yeah.
And then they
You're
just
human.
say crazy shit.
the craziest
and
shit.
you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Like that kind of bums me out sometimes. Like I've had a little bit of like some weirdness.
Mhm.
Again, like I'll get like a weird DM and I'm like,
the
bruh.
last one was.
I got
wild.
like a
Do you
really
respond at
crazy
all?
one.
No.
No.
You just block
No.
her.
Yeah.
It was
Just
like
delete, block, no
Move on.
interaction. I got a crazy one. This one is gonna like it might bum you out. someone slid into my message requests. I check them sometimes, and it was, hey, so happy, like so cool meeting you and the band. Here's a picture of us. Picture is like tap image to look, and it's a dick pic.
A wiener?
Yes.
Fuck,
and I was
man.
so sad. I was like in the van with everyone, and I was like, damn. And everyone's like, what? And I was like,
And these
this
people
happened.
have actually faces on their
Like,
profiles.
No, this was a total burner account.
Oh
like,
my
so
God,
this person,
dude.
like, it's like, faceless account. And I'm
what
just
do these
like,
people do with all their
but
lives,
it made me
man?
so sad because I was just like,
I know. It's
Damn.
That is a
brutal.
bit of a bummer.
it like
It's
bummed me out a
fucking
little bit.
horrible.
But that's where I get a little pessimistic because I'm just like, damn, what am I doing? Like, I put in all this work, I do all this stuff, and this is what happens. But at the same time,
You and Malachi
this is
tripping
the
over
yeah.
there,
He's
man.
like he's laughing.
When
He's
I can't
giggling.
help but like be like, fucking idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Like it, like people who have said stuff like I can't even get mad because I'm like you live with that level of stupidity every day
Yes.
of your life. You lost the game already, dude. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like I just think
I try not
think
to take it
it's-
personal, but that kind of stuff can hurt me because it's not just that thing. It's like it's the way that our world is.
Yeah.
Like that bums me out. I'm like, damn, like I do all this work. I'm putting in all this passion and this effort and like my time and my energy, blood, sweat, and tears into this. And this is what I get. Like that's not all what I get though.
No,
like
I know.
I'm just a little bit negative in that moment. And I'm like, damn, seriously?
But that's
like,
still really fucked up. Somebody do that. It's
Yeah.
really so
It's a
disrespectful, so
bummer.
violent.
Oh,
It's just everything
dude.
about it.
it's such
just,
a bummer.
people say all kind. I mean, people say stuff like just constantly. They bring things into it that have nothing to do with it. Like
Yeah.
they'll be like, your band's only doing that because you have a girl singer, and you'll be like,
I'm like, damn.
what the fuck is that? Like, it's not
Yeah.
because we just lived in a van for fucking 6 months out of the year grinding. Like,
yeah.
we do this because we love it. We're not here to like,
yeah.
here, your band's only this because of that. You're,
do you hear that a lot about because you're
Yeah.
wow.
we
Damn.
can't do, we get shit on not because that's what we were saying. It's like, people could hate on the music.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
okay with
I
that.
just learned how to play fucking guitar when we started the band. If you say the riffs suck, I'm not going to take it personally
It's-
because
Yeah.
I'm
We're
not
not reinventing the wheel
I'm
musically,
not.
but I will say like it's hard to not kind of get sad and feel bad for myself if someone's like hating on my gender, like
Yeah.
my like identity, like or the way that I dress or like things
Yeah.
like the way I present myself and like that part of the band, like because sometimes I get like really insecure and I'm like, damn. Like, I feel bad for the guys in the band. Like, they would probably be having such a better time if I was just a dude. Like, things like that. Like, I get
Wow,
really in
man.
my head about... Because I'm just like...
But you
know?
don't feel that when you're playing. You don't feel it when people
No.
come see you play.
No.
All the
It's
stuff
a-
you're
it's a
talking
different
about.
story,
just
yeah.
is the internet
it's
bullshit.
online. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
Which is why I'm like, why do I even do that?
It's
Like,
crazy 'cause
why go on the internet?
that's why I love this podcast. We're like, we're all
Yeah.
looking at each other. We're having a
Yeah.
conversation about life and different
Yeah.
things. And then we haven't looked at our phones in almost 2 hours and we didn't miss anything.
No.
And the same people are still going to be on there
Yeah.
Exactly.
talking shit and hating for the rest of
Yeah.
their lives. It's
They-
like,
they're
But
not
meanwhile, we
worth-
don't even know because our phones are down.
that's what I'm saying.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
it's
Yeah.
like,
doesn't
I think
bother
I
me.
think breaking...
I can
Yeah.
see it does. I know it. Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
No, about I care when I see them talking shit about
Yeah.
stuff because it's like that stuff's like more of a personal attack, and I'm like, yeah,
He also doesn't like to see me sad.
yeah. So
Oh, I
like,
totally get
it's
that.
like
yeah.
we started this band because Kat wanted to be in a band, and Kat and I have been dating since before the band.
So
So-
cool, man.
I was like, yeah, let's be in a band together, and it's awesome. You know, do I like when like we're at she's trying to do merch and some guy's like, I lost a bet, so I have to ask for your number, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. You wouldn't do that if it was me at the merch table. I've never had a girl walk up to me and say, I lost a bet, so I have to ask for your number.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, that did happen. It wasn't asking for my number. It was just like he like complimented me. Like he said something really weird, but
Shit
but
like that. Like,
I just
it's like
avoid people a lot
some
more.
dude
Yeah.
like walks
At
up,
this
can I
point.
get a picture, and then tries to, and it's like, dude, we are not here for you to do that. Like, and it's like, there's comments all the time about us, and we just take it in stride now. But yeah, there's definitely been
You have
times where
to.
like people will just directly attack Kat because Kat's a woman, and it's like,
Yeah.
why? You know, and I see it not just with Kat. I see it. We toured with our good friends in this band called Zulu,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zulu's a
Oh,
great
dude.
band.
Zulu.
Yeah,
They
We were on
Zulu.
tour with us,
totally shit on.
and they had people saying they were gonna show up and fight, and I was like, let's handle, like, you know. And then like I was like, cool, we get to beat up some racists, and it's like in my mind I'm like, yo, that's fucked up, but I can't imagine being in a band, just existing and having to deal with that. Someone tried to call in a bomb threat on a show we were on tour together on because
they were mad about
mad
Zulu.
because they're they're an all black
They're
band.
an all black
Yeah.
band.
I know.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
when shit like that, I see
It's like,
in
fuck.
hardcore, we were talking about how great it was, how much I learned, how many things I did. There's still a lot of racism and sexism and homophobia
Yes.
Yeah.
in hardcore.
Yes.
There is in the music scene in general. There's a lot of it. There is a lot of stuff that people don't realize they're doing. There's things that are like, it's all learned. You know, these are learned behaviors that, like, if taught, you know, and talked to and willing to have these conversations, people can become better people. You know, I really believe that. And they can learn. But there's a lot of things I see. I see it all the time. I see it, and like, I used to care a lot. I used to be like, what the fuck? Because that never happened to me. I've been in multiple bands before, but they're all pretty local.
Yeah.
And like our friends, we all support each other. So then when you start touring and someone's saying this, that, or the other and hating on
crazy,
people for really no reason, it's purely just like to bring them down. Do you see someone out there trying to have fun or doing this? I've seen it with every band I know that has femme people in it, or women or femme presenting people in it, has dealt with almost the exact same comments across the board. So this is a thing that
it's hard. I will say, like, it's hard because it's like, if this is how it is, and like, then it doesn't matter. Like, if that's how it is, like, it'll just fuel me to be like better and like to play a crazier show or whatever. But sometimes I want to feel bad for myself. Like, sometimes I get a little bit sad. I'm like, damn, like, this sucks. But at the same time, it's like, I'm doing this because like, I'm not afraid. Like, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm doing something that, like, honestly, I know a lot of other people like wish they had the confidence to do. Maybe, like, not to say like I have all this confidence, because I don't, but I know that a lot of times people do, like, they hate on bands because they're jealous. Like, 100%. It's a subconscious thing, right?
Yes.
So it's like, I have to give myself props. Like, I'm going out and doing it, and it's like, if people are gonna like talk shit on me, regardless of how good or bad I do at a show or like recording or whatever, doesn't matter what I do, like, they're gonna hate on it just because I'm a woman. Yeah. That just gives me more fuel to just be like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna do it.
Kill it even more.
Yeah. So I try not to fall into the like.
What's
the
funny
trap.
about these people that get upset about it is like, when does it ever stop? Like women haven't stopped being, you know, the fronts of bands. Like, there hasn't been there hasn't been a stop to black artists. You know, black people want to do hardcore or anything of that nature. So it's like, you're not really whatever the problem you have, you're not fixing it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like, so it's like women, black people, whoever you are, whatever, you know, race, gender, or color, you know, you want to represent, that will always exist, no matter what. So it's like the fight you're fighting is almost like it's just something that can never be solved. Yeah. So it's like,
they just do it to fuck with people too, probably.
Yeah, and they probably do it to fuck with people, and, you know, whatever.
But one thing I did learn from that none of these people that do that read any lyrics of any of the hardcore bands.
No,
because nobody has songs about this and saying this is cool to do. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's just like
United and Strong.
They
listen 7 Seconds. They listen GB. They listen to all these bands. Like,
I genuinely just think it's just like this weird mentality. I don't know where it comes from, but I don't really give a fuck anymore. I can't. I can't like sit at home and be like,
you should. That's what I meant by like being exhausted. It's like, whatever.
I'm just gonna do. I'm just gonna fucking do it.
And you're gonna prove shit to anybody, man.
Yeah. Exactly.
You guys are already killing it, doing your thing. You have your sound. You have people that love you. You guys are touring. Yeah. You're staying busy. All the shit on the internet, it's not affecting your life at all. Maybe it's fuck with you mentally a little bit, make you sad. But like, nobody's gonna come up to you in real life. Nobody's gonna say that shit. The person came to your show and singing your fucking words.
That's like exactly why.
Attention, man.
That was like that moment.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, the way I look at it is like, I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you could hate me all you want, but like
You don't have to like it, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it.
I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to
Like-
like it, and it's fine if you don't like it.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah,
nothing
that's
wrong.
all
Like
right.
not
There's nothing wrong with
everything-
like disliking it.
yeah, not everyone likes everything.
Yeah, no,
like,
that's weird.
I
That's
mean,
fine,
I
like-
like a lot of things, but like not everything is my thing, and that's okay.
There's
Like
what,
end of story. Like
Yeah.
Here's what I imagine, like if someone listens to it who's like a hater, right? Here's what I imagine, like if someone listened to this conversation,
is this a play-by-play?
They make a post, right? They think we hate them because they're women, or they have a woman in the band. I just hate them because they suck, and then I go, that's fair. You know?
That's fair.
You could hate me because we suck, bro. I just don't. The comments that are like directly focused towards like
That have nothing to do with the band.
that
Well, I
have
don't have
nothing to do
control
with the
over
band.
that.
It's just
Yeah.
the gender or like it's how someone looks or someone's skin color.